Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome once again to Blaine's Escape Corner, our little corner of the internet where we get together and we talk about the things that help us escape. And sometimes we talk about the things that we escape from. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'm going to be cracking open once again the Balvenie Doublewood. It will be what gets us through this. And I could have warned a guy with an announcement at least. I was on Brandon's stream and I was busy tweeting. I didn't have time to worry about making announcements. 1-2 hour stream straight to another. We'll see what this stream ends up doing. We'll find out. Could be 2 hour, could be 20-minute. Could be, I don't know, 4 hour, depending on who starts talking. Excuses. You don't know my life. Leave me alone. Trust me when I say I'm trying my best. 3-minute stream? Only if the internet goes out. Only... Oh, jeez. Why is this all tangled? Was this tangled all rest of the last stream, but you couldn't tell because of those tiny little avatar photos? Talk about... Pew, pew! Pew, 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 pew! So... E3 canceled. Who cares? No, I ate before streams. Remember? Or you watched me eat? All right. Where the heck was I? Why is E3 canceled? I keep seeing E3 canceled everywhere. Why is it canceled? Speaking of internet, Pippa's getting screwed by her ISP. Oh, no. Who would do such a thing? Was the ISP... How are they screwing her? It actually... Wait. What is Pip? Pippa's a girl, right? No one's going? No one can go. It's been canceled. Compi, everybody. It's over because no big publisher wanted to go. Okay. Two sources have confirmed to IGN that the organization announced the cancellation via an email sent out to its members today. The email said that while E3 remains a beloved event and brand, that the 2023 version simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. Oh no, it's not going to be the impact that we wish. Oh, here, I'll let you guys. You guys can read along so you know I'm not making it up. Yeah, the big boys are doing their own streams. Exactly. Why would you, in today's age, where you can have a Nintendo Direct, an Ubisoft Direct, what would the Ubisoft one be called? An Ubisoft, I don't know, Ubunkin, some weird U word. Sony skipping, Microsoft gone. Man, everybody just, nope. The ESA concludes its email by reiterating its commitment to advocacy work. Advocacy? All you want is ticket sales. What do you mean? What does the ESA do? Reed Pop? Man, Reed Pop. They are the giant behind every convention. They are... it's like when you learn that, like, Mars Bar, like, candy owns, like, every candy bar. You're like, all of them? And you're like, yeah, I mean, all the good ones. And you're like, what? forced face diapers too and jab checks. Do you think that did it? Or was it literally just people? Like, here's what happened. We had years where E3 couldn't really go on the way it had been going on, and developers or houses or publishers, whatever branch was like, hey, if you look at our budget, it's a lot better. And I don't really see a negative impact on sales. Pretty sure we don't have to do this anymore. Let's not waste this expense anymore. We can do this without spending money. And then it's like, oh, couldn't you? Oh, you figured that out, did you? The people who sit at home all day and play video games that are the whales that make up the people that give you the majority of your income don't care whether or not you had an E3 appearance. It's a relic of a bygone era like Blockbuster. Yeah. Cause there were years, back to back years when I went to PAX. So in Seattle we have the big ones are Emerald City Comic Con, the Sakura Con for anime, and then PAX, which was our Penny Arcade Expo. Used to be the PAX Prime. Now it's PAX West. If there even is a new PAX, who knows? And PAX, like, we would get tickets. It was pretty straightforward. You just wait for the tweet. You buy your tickets. We would have our tickets for the whole weekend. We get some for friends, and we'd all have fun and go enjoy it. But you realize after like the second PAX that you go to that you're like, this is just a bunch of like long lines where I wait to then play like a minute of a game and then move on. And the coolest part about PAX and the PAX experience was that all of the indie devs in like the indie area, not that they had like specific games I was specifically excited for, there were those, but they would all go once the con was over to all the Seattle bars. And so we'd have parties at the Hard Rock with Double Fine, right? Like I have a picture of me with the what's his face from Double Fine? What's that guy's name? Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer's hand on my shoulder in like a big group of people. It was a moment. It was crazy. And so you don't have to go to these conventions or these events. What you do is you get on the Facebook groups at the time or whatever the new Discord servers are in order to find like the after parties, and you just locate every after party and go to those, because the after parties have you sometimes pay for a ticket whether or not you have like a pass for the event. So you don't even have to go to the event to just go to the after parties. It's so much more fun to go to those. Now, Emerald City, I stopped going to Emerald City because comic books just weren't really my thing. It was cool. That's how I met the Green Ranger years ago. Had him sign my Power Rangers comic books. But it just became like, yeah, I don't care as much about this. But when you get those smaller cons, like Sakura Con, while being like our biggest anime convention in this area, the anime audience is so much smaller that when you're there, the booths, the people, the cosplay contests, everything is so much more of you hanging out in this big place with a bunch of friends that you create this more camaraderie. You're all having fun. You're all having a blast. And while the days of the glomp and the yaoi paddles may be behind us, some of the funnier parts, there's some more modern things that are hilarious, like the adult areas where you can watch some otaku weeb with a VR headset hump a body pillow, and you're like, the hell is going on around here? Oh man. It's always a fun party basically. If you, and SakuraCon specifically is 24 hours, so you don't even have to leave. You can literally just show up, and then like when you're tired, you can go into the theater rooms and just like pass out in a chair for a while. It's a blast. And again, the after parties are the fun thing to do. Next Fest better than Tim Schmuckface. I don't know if you've never been to a Hard Rock catered event by a game publisher and then competed in the Gang Beast tournament and been the final victor and had an entire crowd shouting chicken, chicken, because I was the chicken suited one in the game. But it feels good. Feels very good. A lot better than your next fest will ever feel. Don't you forget it. But those game conventions, they're just glorified trailers. They're just big trailers and like trailer. If you want to get into like the games industry, having a little corner booth with like your indie game, that's not going to do you half as much as spending whatever it took you to get there on as many streamers as you can, or the biggest streamer you can playing your game, right? That's going to go so much farther than being some booth in the corner of one of these giant game conventions. So yeah, I definitely think that E3 and that whole design is a way of the past. Now, if they completely turn it around and they can find a way, I don't know that you can do this with gamers as a genre, though, a genre of people, because anime fans, yes, we all have different anime that we enjoy. We have different shows that are our favorites. We have shows that we gravitate towards, shows we hate, shows we like, character designs, tropes that we think are fun, tropes we think should be gone. We have all of these things that we may agree or disagree on. However, there is sort of a universality to this is a really good anime, and everyone in the anime community will say, yes, this is really good anime. This is really good. Always going to have haters, but like you look back, for me, I look back and I'm like, Cowboy Bebop. I don't know that I could point to you someone who hates Cowboy Bebop. Maybe I'll point to people that can find a flaw just because they want to be more critical. But outside of like, I'm just a hater, I don't know that you find people that will hate something like Cowboy Bebop, right? Whereas, Dark Souls, amazing, great game. I love Dark Souls, fantastic game. But if you're a Minecraft player, if you're a puzzle gamer, if you're any other genre of gamer, you're going to be like, I'm not going to watch that. And I'm not going to spend $60 to then try it, right? So you're so much more segregated out that I think this idea of each studio that has sort of their own culture could pull off their own little individual conventions, but I don't know that that would be ever worth it. I don't know, it would ever be worth it. Plus the BO. The Gamescom one is the only one I remember walking around with people smoking. That was true until about 5 years ago. Now there are people that intentionally hate on certain anime for clicks on YouTube. Yeah, outside of the literal hater, right? I hate thing because thing popular. But even them, I think you could get them to agree that that is a whatever show you want to hold up is like, this is a good show. It's better than, 80% of other shows out there. Like, I feel like that's a pretty healthy amount that you could do. After watching the President Dark Souls videos, kind of want a desire to watch a stream on all of the bosses. You want to watch a stream on all of the bosses, or you want to watch an all boss run? Because I guess I could do both. I just have to. I'd have to hook up the PlayStation to the output. I could do that. I could have that ready in like a week. But if that's not what if you're not talking about a gameplay, if you're talking about just talking about bosses, I can throw up the Tequila Gundam and we can talk about all of the Dark Souls bosses. I freaking love that game. Blaine hates on that one really popular anime. What was it? Blaine hates Chainsaw Man. I'm sorry. Was it really popular? Did it do real good, or did it get beat out by some weird indie music slice of life that showed up and dominated it? Other popular, yeah, Onimai. Yeah, I hate the #1 anime of the season according to ANN. Anime is really diversified in terms of people it appeals to also. I agree it has diversified, but I think you still like it'd be hard pressed to find somebody who, if you're like, this is like Dress Up Darling. Like, how many people really hate Dress Up Darling? Like, not like, oh, I'd rather watch something else. I'd rather watch Mecha. I'm a Mecha and Ninja guy. I'm gonna only watch Mecha and Ninja anime. Sure, bro. But you know what? I also have a place to connect with Mecha Ninja guy, right? I really like Mecha Ninja guy. He's funny and he introduces me to interesting Mecha Ninja shows. I don't think you get that in video games. I don't think you get like if someone's like, "Oh, I really like racing simulators. I have a full racing seat. I have the wheel and everything. I really like playing racing simulators." But it doesn't matter how much I tell you how interesting or how cool or how unique some new racing sim game is. If you're not a racing sim player, you're never going to get into it. Whereas I think with anime, like, you could get into a show that's outside of your genre of preference, right? Lord of the Rings. I have a specific critique about Lord of the Rings, and everybody wants to bring it up. Is like, oh, we watched Lord of the Rings 1,000 times. Why? Why waste your time? The joke that it feels like everything is an isekai today. True. Yeah, vending machine isekai is coming. Very exciting. You think Mecha Ninja Guy is kind of boring, but when Mecha Ninja Guy comes to you with like god tier Mecha Ninja anime, you're like, okay, I'm about it. We can do this, and then he can go back to his boring stuff. It's not a big follow, not a big issue. Oh, thank you for is that a follow? It's so tiny on my screen. Sugar Bear, Sugar Bear TV. Thank you for the follow. Only Twitter weirdos and insecure people hate Dress Up Darling. True. True. Games used to like lots of genres depending. Yeah, I think historically games were such a niche thing that the guy that liked first-person shooters also liked NFL Blitz, for example. Like there was a lot more crossover in genre historically, and now it just doesn't get there. Don't get us started as bad with Lord of the Rings take. What? There's nothing bad about it. What do you mean bad? There's nothing bad about my take. It's too damn long. Don't make such damn long movie series. Oh, it's epic. Oh, it's great. And then don't come in here and be like, I like to rewatch it. Oh, you like to lose days of your life at a time? Get out of here. Your Doberman is a fan. Oh, awesome. Is your Doberman the devil? Is it Lucifer? You're wondering if you heard it somewhere else. No, I remember watching the original cuts of the original Lord of the Rings in theater and was like, wow, this is good. I like this. I even got like the little, like the plastic sword, the little Frodo glowy sword. And then came extra cuts and extra cuts and extra cuts, and it was like longer and longer and longer. People kept wanting to watch it, and I was like, I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to keep watching this stupid show anymore. That's what happened. That's what happened. I've explained it plenty of times. Prefer fighting anime with exploding people. I prefer exploding clothes as opposed to the people exploding, but we can shake hands on that one, I think. You only play more because isn't your rule that you only play games that are free and on your phone? I thought that was your rule. Now you're telling me it's Momorpaga specific. Getting out of here. Why waste your time with people wasting your time? Time management guru. I mean, I'm not a time management guru. But I don't waste time watching the same thing again and again and again. Except you used to binge through all 6 of the Star Wars movies. Or Star Trek. I don't know what you're talking about. Bad Lord of the Rings take. God. Shum, you were just on the last stream I was on. Within 6 years, from 2000 to 2006, we have over 400 anime that are worth watching. And you're going to tell me that you're going to take time to watch Lord of the Rings again. Not that you've not seen it, but that you would be like, oh, I'll watch this again. that would be your choice in life. When you have so many shows and things that you haven't seen, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this again. Ironically, as an adult, I think on 2, and none of them are TOS era. VHS, okay. You played Mobby on your computer, you use what you can get? Okay. All right. Okay, you do. 400, you don't believe it? The way that AniList works, the 400, it is inclusive of like 5 different case closed movies. Each season counts as a different show, technically. Mobby was interesting, hard to solo through. Solid solo it though. If it's that or it's another one in life, I mean, yeah. Every Christmas, all 3 extended versions. All right. How long is the Lord of the Rings extended? 3 hours. 3:30. Wait, hold on. Combined length. 12.1 hours. 12.1 hours. You're going to waste half of a day on something you've... And let me be clear. You've already seen it. You know what happens. There's no surprise. It's not different this time. There's nothing unique about it. It's the same thing you watched last time. For 12 hours. If I arrive at your Christmas party and you're like, oh yeah, we're watching it, and it's on in the living room and everyone is making food in the kitchen or baking cookies or making gingerbread houses and focused on something else, I call your bullshit, because there's no way You also rewatch Back to the Future twice a year. Wow, why? Why? What do you forget in 6 months? This is the only reason anybody watches me, apparently, because they all got goldfish brain and forget how stupid I am. And they're like, oh, we'll check this guy out again. And they're like, oh, hey, this is funny. He's the guy. Well, he's got some really bad takes, though. And then they leave. And then you're like, oh, wait, who's this? And like, you just get called in again every day. Oh, man. You're not going to do that as a party thing? What do you do it as? What? You're how do you a petty like for me? Thank you, Kitty Bear. How many anime episodes is in 12 hours? 12 hours. So in 1 hour you're going to get 3 episodes. So you're looking at about 36 episodes. So you could watch at today's rate 3 seasons of anime. I sit alone in my room and I watch it. I watch it with the door shut. The glow of the monitor illuminating my face. Praying that my mother doesn't open the door to see me watching Lord of the Rings Extended Edition for the 25th time. So that's a full core of a show. That's 3 full cores. Yeah. Hashtag never forget that Brandon rewatches Reincarnated as a Sword multiple times. Not even close, yeah. Couldn't finish One Piece in the heat death of the universe. Yeah, and it's just getting longer. It's just getting longer. It's a great movie to have on while playing Pathfinder, Uno, Ticket to Ride with Family, because if you get lost, you didn't miss anything. Oh, don't rewatch the anime. Go find anime you haven't seen. The only person who can't use that is Kitty Bear. Kitty Bear is the only person with the rewatch anime pass because they've seen it all. Like when we look at AniList and we get to the bottom of the page where we're getting into like the weird like yarn animation and stuff, Kitty Bear's seen that. Kitty Bear is allowed to rewatch anime because there's no new anime under the sun for Kitty Bear. The rest of us, no rewatching unless A, you are showing it to someone else and you're seeing them react and you're there as like a tour guide of anime. You can be like, oh yeah, this is really good. They're like, oh, this is really good. Thanks for showing it to me. You can rekindle a friendship that way. Or B, the show you are watching means different things at different points in your life and you can actually glean new information from it. The poop anime, Doggy Poo, the great Korean animation. No, that one's CG. Or is it clay? Is it clay? I thought it was actually CG. I thought it's supposed to look like clay. You watch good anime all the time. New stuff is gay. Rewatches Kino. Jemmy, you could start watching anime. Anything you watch is not going to be a rewatch unless we're talking what, Pokemon? What's your annual list? You have favorites you do rewatch. What's the point of owning anime? Is you can't teach it? Oh my gosh. Rewatch, not teach. You can't rewatch it. Okay. The point of buying anime is so that the studio can have more money to make more shows that you like. And when they look at the numbers, they can see that that show sells well and they'll do more like that. That is the point of purchasing anime. Would you rather rewatch Birdie Wing or watch Ice Blade Sorcerer? False dichotomy. Me not rewatching Birdie Wing doesn't mean I have to watch Ice Blade Sorcerer. I can watch anything else I want. Now, if you lock me up, you're like, you gotta watch a show. You got me clockwork oranged into a chair when you're sitting there with the eye drops and you're like, what do you want me to put on? I'd probably say Ice Blade Sorcerer because I've seen Birdie Wing. I know what happens in Birdie Wing. I don't want to watch Birdie Wing again. Stop motion. If you're talking about the doggy poo movie, it's definitely designed to look like stop motion claymation kind of a thing. But I don't remember if it's actually like computer CG. But it's a very heartwarming story about a dog that takes a crap on the sidewalk and that crap becomes sentient and learns what its place is in the universe. How is Ice Blade? Apparently, it's really bad. You have a huge backlog, though? Yeah, just go to your backlog. For a while, I was rewatching new anime because I watched it during the week and then again with my brother, but lately he hasn't had the time. Hey, look, even Kitty Bear follows the rule of rewatch where he's showing it to somebody else. Good, but I probably won't. I'll say I could, but I'm not gonna. You'll also watch the sub, then if it gets dubbed, you may repeat and watch the dub. Watch an episode of the sub, watch an episode of the dub, decide which voice cast you like better, and move forward with that. That's ancillary. What's ancillary? You must choose. I did choose. False choice fallacy, I think. Isn't it a false dichotomy? False false dichotomy is a logical fallacy in which a spectrum of possible options is misrepresented as an either-or choice between two mutually exclusive things. So it's like we either be vegan or cannibals. Like that would be a false dichotomy. It ignores sort of the myriad of other choices that you could have. Clockwork Orange is puke. Not a fan. Not a fan of Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange is not bad, but it's definitely up its own ass. But it's worth it for the memes. If any drops from order because of the backlog. My studio comment. Oh, the fact that you buy stuff so that the studios can have it? No, I'm telling you, the only reason I buy anything anime-wise is so that the studios get some amount of cash. And if I want the manga to get cash, I buy the manga or I buy the light novel. English 2 prof in college forces to watch it and write a paper on it. Oh, that's instantly ruins anything is making it homework. Instantly ruins it. Choose violence. Made you sick to watch it. Interesting. I assume we're talking about live action one. It's the only Clockwork Orange I know is the live action one. You haven't watched it but heard it's a great movie. It is. I don't know that I would classify it as a great movie because it comes from this time where there's a whole swath of movies that people watched and then they were like, this is great movie. Cisco and Ebert give it 2 thumbs up. Great, fantastic film. And then you watch it and you get to this part where there's like 30 minutes of just like nothing happening. And you're like, how did people enjoy this back in the day? It's in that sort of era where you're like, okay, this is nice, but it could be half as long and tell the same story. Every Kubrick movie is up its own ass. Yeah. continue playing Fallout 76, you're gonna rewatch Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren. You eat your neighbor's ass before you have that lawnmower sauce. What lawnmower sauce? Wait, did I miss something? Oh, I'm on Top Chat. Damn it. Top Chat noob. Look at me. You buy stuff you like and you may rewatch someday, but I don't buy that much stuff. Too much invested in the stream, which reminds me, time to drop Hulu this week. Ooh, goodbye, Hulu. Get dumped. You'd rather rewatch the reboot arc of Steins Gate? Probably less rapey than Bible Black. Potentially. You fell asleep watching '01 Odyssey. Space Monkeys were peak in that movie. Again, you're like, this is fantastic, but like part of what's interesting about it is what they were able to pull off like in the cinematography, right? Nowadays we can do so much that you go back and you watch what is the Rosebud movie? The hell, Rosebud. Citizen Kane. You go back and you watch Citizen Kane, and it's not great. It's not fun. You don't have a good time. You aren't being blown away by it. But if you watch Citizen Kane when Citizen Kane came out, the fact that they showed a ceiling that they were filming from within rooms was so monumental at the time that audiences were just blown away by that. So it was a lot of things in different eras that were like, look at what we can do. And they sort of didn't tell a story as much as they were just interesting. Even if you are vegan, plant food is meat. Funny. I do, as much as I do make fun of vegans, I have to say, the Japanese Buddhists that only eat vegetables, they have a ostensibly vegan diet. The things that they do to make vegetables taste good and in different ways and different techniques, it's called Shojin Ryori. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have had Michelin starred Shojin Ryori at a temple in Japan, and it's mind-blowing. You finish the meal and you feel like you've had it all. Sweet, savory, you get the salty stuff, you get some of that really nutritious tasting stuff, you've got some fatty tasting stuff, and at the end of it, you've only been eating vegetables the entire time. You're like, wow, this is if this is what vegans were talking about, I think they could convince a lot more people that like they could go with that. But as soon as a vegan is like, this is tofurkey. Oh, look at my tofu dog. Oh, look at my mystery meat. Look at my impossible meat. It's like, no, get out of here with that. FPS Grinchy, thank you for the follow over on Kick. Welcome to the escape corner. We are the anime chat that turns into me yelling about something for some reason. Your wife loved Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. You watched it with her multiple times. I did a Breakfast at Tiffany's once. That was fun. We figured out the inflation rate for what is it? $20? Is that what they had? $10? And then we went to Tiffany's. I don't even think we could buy a deck of cards. It was insane. If you're going to be a cannibal, vegan is the only way to go. You had that experience at a Japanese restaurant that does things like bentos. You got sesame chicken when you ordered. I thought I'd hate the zucchini. Zucchini is super. They steamed it so well you couldn't not eat the zucchini, and you're not a fan of the Z veg. Yeah. I mean, that's one of those like. unless you have some sort of allergic or physical reaction to food, I'm of the belief that there is a way to prepare everything that you will enjoy it. Um, if you're like, oh, I hate broccoli, I hate cauliflower, I hate all this kind of stuff, there's always some way, somewhere that you can prepare something. Whether it's as simple as smashing it into a patty, battering it and frying it and serving it like it was some sort of like crisp to bring a meat dip into your mouth or like a cheese dip into your mouth. There's a way that everybody likes something. Uh, and good on you for giving it a shot. Good job. What if you're allergic to tofu, then vegan will kill you? So when I had Shojin Yori, only 2 of the like 15 dishes that we ate were tofu. Like it was so many other things beyond just tofu, but American vegans are just the worst. The only vegans you tolerate are fauna and a family member, and that's because they aren't kunts about it. Nice. Oh, you hate broccoli opens up tub of Rico's cheese. Bottoms. I've always I've always loved that part about like American culture where it's like uh oh, you don't like veggies? What if we just drown it in cheese or ranch dressing? Do you like your veggies now? Can you eat your carrot sticks now, little Jimmy? Yeah, I like my carrot sticks when they're swimming in ranch. And you're like, that's not good for you. You took the thing that was good for you and made it not good for you. Oh, man. You're allergic to bird meat. You still eat chicken. You take a 2-day rash you get. Interesting. And it's all birds. It's not just chicken. It's like turkey and what, pheasant, duck. That's a curious allergy to me. We used to have an authentic Chinese restaurant, but the pandemic killed it. All the other nearby seem to overcook their meat. Japanese restaurant doesn't. Maybe a repeat customer next month. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I am blessed with many a Chinese restaurant. But Chinese food, most Chinese food is so simple. Uh, go buy yourself a wok. Buy it pre-seasoned if you don't want to bother seasoning it yourself. But buy a wok, and then all you have to go do is buy a protein like beef or chicken or whatever it is you're interested in, and then some veg, so some broccoli, some onion, maybe some bell pepper. Chop it all up, throw it in a pan, and then you just start squirting in sauces. You're like soy sauce, mirin, hoisin, black bean garlic sauce, a little oyster sauce, a little bit of fish sauce, a couple dashes of that. Not too much. Fish sauce will go a little crazy, and then a big scoop of sambal or chili paste. Boom. You swirl that around. You serve that up. You're done. One pan, you're done. Skazoo over on Kick says to squirt some girl juice in there. I can't deny that I wouldn't eat it. Oh man. Well, yeah. You try it. Maybe the first time. I've just never had it with food. You love broccoli, but you don't get cauliflower. Your daughter is the opposite. Crazy for the white bush veggie. Skazooed. If anybody wants to watch Valorant, GTA, RP, League of Legends, and FIFA, Skazoo has also been beatboxing for 16 years, which makes GTA a little different. Beatboxing. How interesting. The only guy I ever knew in real life that could beatbox was the drummer for the band I was in high school. And he was Japanese, so it was even funnier. You're drinking a Kirkland water? I'm drinking a Kirkland water. What in the world? I'm also drinking a Balvenie whiskey, so balancing out the lime. Oh, thanks, Jemmy. Yeah, squirt that girl juice all over the like button, folks. Just all over it, so that your phone does that weird thing where the screen gets wet and then like the buttons get hit. That's what we need. Turkey and chicken, other birds you haven't tried. Well, if you ever come across duck or quail or pheasant or, some other bird, I am curious to see uh, if your chicken and turkey allergy correlates to all birds. Jamie opens a bottle of Kirkland water. That's hilarious. You love cauliflower, but switched over to it as my main rice. Cauliflower, not bad if you like pan fry it and then cover it with Frank's. I think that's probably my favorite way to go about it. Plus, like Frank's, it's like you get that buffalo feeling, but you're not like it's not like when you when you dump veggies in ranch and you're just like I hate myself afterwards because you just feel all like gross fatty ranch dressing. Something like a hot sauce has like no added like bad downsides. Elk, if you ever had a chance, try well cooked elk. So tender. Yes, elk, very good. We get a lot more venison around here than we do elk, so I'm more familiar with the smaller of the deers. Mystery machine to the right above my shoulder. Yeah, I got a stuffed mystery machine back there. It's the '60s crew in the mystery machine, like a pillow kind of thing. Very strange. Try an ostrich burger. We get emu burgers around here. There's a lot of emo farms down in Pierce County. They're pretty good. Walmart selling Hidden Valley Ranch ice cream. Oh no. Gross. Gross. I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay. What do we wanna go to? We wanna go with lefties and specifically transgender gun advocacy. Really all I wanted to point out was that there's a lot of people posting pictures of themselves and their guns. Looks like one you'd get a pattern for at Joanne Fabric. It's got a tag. It came as a plushie. It wasn't a thing. Or it wasn't a homemade thing. It's not the meat itself, but the juices in it. The drier the meat, the lower the reaction. That makes sense because the enzymes are what you're probably the blood, something in the blood, maybe. Dang it, where did this go? Does anybody know what a Keltec PMR 30 is? If I say that, the argument over the shoes, were they red or black? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me as something that you should ever do. Very, very strange choice. Let's see, where did it go? Gosh, I actually tweeted a lot today. Why did I do that? Here we go. This one comes to us by way of the almighty Lolly finding and retweeting this. This is a Keltec PMR 30. This is a semi-auto pistol made by a company called Keltec. Keltec makes the most interesting and simultaneously cheap, garbage, piece of crap guns you've ever seen. The PMR 30 is a 30 round 22 Magnum pistol. And you're like, that's insane. Who would come up with that? Keltec. Keltec would. But because you're holding 30 rounds of 22 Magnum, which is like a surprisingly long round if you've never seen one, it is the stupidest pistol grip to hold on to. So dumb. But apparently, Keltec is the gun maker of the transgender community. The shooter in Nebraska, Keltec. This one, Keltec. They're all Keltecs. Every picture, there's a KSG, which is like a weird shotgun thing. It's like a really short shotgun design with like 2 tubes and then like a single barrel on top. Keltec. They're cheap. They're dirt cheap. It's like if High Point made interesting things and you're like, well, that's kind of an interesting idea, but then no one should ever buy it or use it or anything like that. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to me. Now, again, don't go posting your collections. Don't go talking about what's at the bottom of your lake. Share that kind of information with friends you have that may need that information, but only if they need it. Thought part of the point of having it was a surprise when someone tries to assault you and you pull a piece out. That's part of defensive weapon. There is the collecting part of weapons. There's a lot of really cool guns that you would never use in self-defense, but they're historic, they're interesting, they're unique, and you're a collector of things. SIG P210. Because part of the thing you got to think about is if you use a gun in self-defense and defend yourself and you survive, the cops are showing up and they are confiscating at least that pistol. So whatever you use, be ready for the cops to take it. That's why I recommend Glocks, because they just work, A, and B, if a cop takes your $500 Glock for, the next year and you maybe can't get it back, you can go buy another Glock. It's not going to kill you at the end of the day. To have to purchase it again. Will be annoying and stupid and dumb and should never happen, but it's a lot better than losing your $1,000 1911 that you finally got tuned up so that it works. So you be shooting your 45, or whatever it is. So just keep that in mind. I also like small revolvers, hammerless. They're very convenient. They're very nice. You had me at Keltec, lost me to the rest. Sounds like Goald stage weapon. You're going to say, aren't Keltec shit? Yes. Twitter announced its 3 new API tiers. The basic one, middle is $100 a month. What? Best for college. That's inappropriate. Don't say that. Keltroons are rising up. All they could afford on their barista paycheck. Save a couple more paychecks. A good truck gun is like a Keltec 2000. The sub 2K that nobody can ever get a hold of, the one that folds in half and then it fits a Glock mag or a Smith & Wesson mag if you accidentally buy the wrong one because you weren't paying attention. Make sure you get the one that takes Glock mags if you get a sub 2K. Still not a great gun. Still a gun I've seen jam more than almost any other gun. Who's worse, Taurus or Keltec? It's hard. It's hard because Keltec, their big problem is most of what they do is plastic because they're an aircraft like CNC company that also has like plastic forming. So like the Keltec company does really interesting and cool things, and the guns is just a side project. So anytime a Keltec gun comes out, it's just some weird thing where they were like, "What if we did this?" and they make it happen. Whereas like Taurus is like the clone along, right? Taurus has their uh, Judge. Is it the Judge? That's the clone of the Smith and Wesson, um, the 410 revolver, and Taurus clones the 92 FS. Taurus clones guns that work. So Taurus weapons work fine, but they're just copying everybody else. So even though they're rattly and not as good and, maybe break a spring after a period of time, they're basically cheaper versions of other things. Uh, so they work. But the Keltecs are interesting. I would probably, if I had to snap my fingers and keep one, I would keep Keltec just because they do interesting and unique stuff. Versus Taurus and their repetition. Like the Wanger giant Swiss Army knife. It's way too big. Someone here who still has an Uzi from the time he served. Wow, that's a long time. There's a couple Uzis, a couple what do they call them? I fired it. It's pretty cool. The demo letter Uzi. Is that what it is? It's very, very difficult to get machine gun, machine pistol in Washington State. You need a police department that is interested in purchasing whatever it is in order to acquire anything full auto. Barista paycheck easy. The Ruger LCP done. And if you're a whiner about the 380, do the LC9. It's not that much bigger. Pocket pistol. Yep. Rugers don't look menacing enough. They are tiny and black. Where is? Oh, they're still looking at me. Cry about it, losers. I'm so shocked by this. And then we get this this data coming out from what is the research company? Everytown Research. Their data from the Pulse nightclub shooting, where they try to extrapolate that non-gender conforming deaths or homicides went from 20 something in 2017 to 59 in 2021, and then extrapolate the idea that 73% of homicides are done with a firearm to say that 73% of those, I think the grand total was like 400 non-gender conforming homicides were killed with firearms. And you're like, okay, so I hate the fact that people are being killed by somebody else, but we're talking 300 deaths. There are 3,000 gun-related suicides in California every year. Like, let's there's like this triage that you should do that says, here's what we want to stop. We want to stop people dying. Let's stop the majority of people dying. Let's stop gun-related suicides, because anytime someone attempts suicide, if they do so with a gun, they are far more likely to get it done. Make sure they could put it in a safe. Even if you have the Commodore safe, still, it's like in a safe. You gotta like go get it. What am I missing? Ruger's amazing enough. You should see its picture. They need a gun that looks big and scary, and they're horribly emaciated hands. So the rewatch thing is interesting. Would you go back to theater to rewatch a movie? What if it was an anime movie? Would I go back to theater to rewatch a movie? No. No, I don't think so. I don't rewatch anything except for Evangelion, and only when I think there's another time in my life where it's gonna mean something to me more, or for showing newbies a show. Exactly. Jemmy gets it. Jimmy knows my rules. I don't even need to respond to those. Does watching each movie recut count as a rewatch of Ava? Movie recut. You're talking about Death and Rebirth? I got very mad at Death and Rebirth for making me rewatch Ava. But the rebuilds are different. The rebuild movies are not recuts necessarily. Big menacing pistol. Well, maybe a revolver like a Red Hawk. Jericho 941 Superior. OG Steel is Rayleigh Jericho 941. You can find them from time to time on Gunbroker. They come in small batches, but they're a fantastic gun. Don't get the new Magnum Research one if you can avoid it. It's still okay, but like, get the IMI one. It's very big. Oh no, another weeb gun off. What? You aren't allowed to take weapons from the army here, or even own guns without a license. He just walks out the front gate with his personal Uzi. Interesting. You don't actually want a personal Uzi? They're pretty cool. They're not. If you were like the choice of, you're like, okay, we are going to alter the Gun Control Act slightly. Everyone is allowed one of everything, and then we go into Gun Control Act rules. So we all get our pick of everything. There's quite a few machine guns I would pick before I picked an Uzi. MP9, in a full auto, I would do in a heartbeat. But the Uzi, it feels good to shoot it. It definitely feels good to shoot it. The Canadian approach to suicide? You mean let the government do it? OG, mini, or micro? I have fired the OG and the mini. I have never fired a micro. I went to the theater to rewatch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Loved the movie, hated the people. 70-plus-year-old just won't shut up. I mean, to be fair, 70-plus-year-old doesn't have much time left. Let him talk. He's trying to get his memoirs out before he dies. You want to own a Vulcan cannon? Hilariously, Gatling guns are legal for civilians as long as there is an individual trigger pull per barrel, which includes crank. So if you got a Vulcan cannon and replaced the electric motor with a hand crank, you can own it. It's one of the best things in the world is the way that they have skirted around that. And you know the reason why you're allowed to do that is because there's a $100,000 Colt Gatling gun that you can buy, and they want to keep that legal for people to purchase as like weird Civil War paraphernalia or whatever. You'd pick something way better than Uzi? Yeah, you would. You feel like a bodyguard shooting Uzis. Probably too many Clancy books you read. Yeah, you would. You feel like you just step onto an 80s movie set because the gun is like this weird, like it's way boxier than it looks like in a movie when you actually hold it and you're like, who would do this? Israeli W weapons design. Yeah, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be as fast. But that would be visceral. Person was really good shooting the Uzi. There's 8mm film recording of him hip firing on a smiley on a target. Nice. All you need is the pickle gun. Some square bullets for those Turks. What's the matter? You don't like Cenk Uygur? You're not a Chanky Danky fan? Do you think Cenk and Anna Kasparian are gonna go their separate ways? Is Anna gonna leave to start her own YouTube channel? Is that where we're at? Did the magical woos of the fast talking Benny Shep lead her astray? President Reagan's Secret Service with the Uzi under the suit jacket. You don't like chunky yogurt? No, not the chunky yogurt. This guy. I know this is like a kind of an awful situation, but did this guy ever just become the coolest guy in the world? Not only is he the president's bodyguard in a 3-piece pinstripe suit, he whips an Uzi out that suit and is being backed up by a black man in a black pants cream jacket with a revolver. Like, these guys right here set the standard for what everybody wishes them and their partner were. Freaking telling people what to do. What is this guy doing? What is this guy? Look at this. This guy over here, he's like, I don't know how to help. I'm just the mic guy. Meanwhile, we got pure unbridled masculinity protecting the president from further harm. That is what America is. Sammy Davis finally strapped up. Meanwhile, we got Shinzo Abe, his like space gun fiasco. We don't have any cool pictures of that. All right, we got a fresh meme off the presses. All right, everybody, fresh meme right off the presses. Famous mangaka Hirohiko Araki admits to having paid Chris Chan's bail because life wasn't bizarre enough. For anybody who doesn't know, Chris Chan is loose. The Sonichu is loose. They paid bail, so they're not out. They still have to show up to a trial. However, who would pay their bail? There's no way that Christian had that money unless like a social security check showed up and they were like, "Oh, I can use this for Transformers and then maybe get out of jail." It's insane. It's insane. Who did that? Who did that? Araki did it for the material for part 10. That's right. There will be a part 10 now. Yeah, no, that is part 10. All right. What am I doing here? I was going to play, but I've kind of burned through the news. Christian's going to be on the new season of Gilf Manor. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. I'm so confused by that show. I need to find somebody who's reacting to that show and figure out what it's all about. Is it really like they all show up to the house with their children and then basically child swap? Is that the name of this game? That's terrifying. That's an anime that no one should want to watch. Stole your spot? No, I didn't steal your spot. Wait, you got a gilf in your life that you would have shown up with? I don't know. This is... They're bringing the corpse. Who's going to be the necro? Oh, Chris Chan Wood. A shocking twist upends everything? What shocking twist? That's... No. Codyco reacts to it? I don't want to watch Codyco. Somebody else react to it. No. The federal government's going to give Christianity, is he? Yeah, they gotta make sure to arm the transgender people. Christian will be their vanguard marching into to fight. Oh, I found out SakuraCon. I was reminded that SakuraCon has I get to see that movie that's like the dual movies. It's going to be premiering at SakuraCon on the 7th. I'm very excited. That will be fun. I can't wait to do that. Shocking twist is one of the gilfs, wasn't it? Retirement age? No, the shocking twist is that one of the gilfs was Christian. That's the real twist secret. All right, am I gonna play Against the Storm tonight? Am I gonna do that? Maybe I should play something different. What else we got? What else we got in the old Steam archives here? Since we're talking about SacCon. Presidents. I freaking love president things.
Fantastic idea taking the day off to come here. Finally, I have the chance to show off my cosplay prowess for all the world to see.
Donald, what are you, a Samsung? This is an anime convention. You're supposed to come dressed as a character from an anime.
That is so funny because nobody does. There's so many non-anime costumes out there. And everybody's just like, oh, what are you from? I wonder how old this background is. You can never tell with anime conventions because you have weebs that don't know what the modern style is, so they're still wearing something from like 10 years ago, paired up with people in costumes, and you're like, man, what year is this?
The mighty T-800 takes directives only from Skynet, Barack. You pink-skinned fluid sacks will all bow to the might of the machine empire once the AI uprising commences. My mission today is not simple.
You're going to watch Red Scorpion? Have a good one, Kitty Bear. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
To hang out with you three losers. You were simply a means of transportation. For the mighty T-800, as durable and resilient as it is, comes at a trade-off. It is not as versatile or agile as the T-1000. As such, having Joe drive here was an excellent way of conserving my energy reserves so that additional power can be allocated to both my optical and audio receptors.
Oh my gosh. The levels of autism are hilarious. Oh, it's so true.
Should we stop him?
Only Donald.
This means that I can now efficiently root out John Connor from this crowd of weebs once I scan his facial features and hear his distinguished high-pitched voice. We should probably head to the arcade area or ATM machine. There is a high probability that he will be at one of those two places. Once he is eliminated,
You'll always see
Skynet
a
shall
cop
reign
speed
supreme
those
forevermore.
Jesus, Donnie.
True.
Tone back the role play a bit. Also, Barry's right. You really should have dressed as an anime character. People are looking at you right now, wondering if there's either a Terminator anime that they didn't know about.
AI chat box using them to say hello meatbag. Oh my gosh. There's like a new style of the AI art that I'm really enjoying, and I can't quite tell how it's being produced, but it looks like you're getting to see the generations of the AI art being formed. So you can see one, then you can see the like subtle changes on how it's sort of like altering the AI art until it becomes like sort of a final product. I'm really enjoying those visually. They're fascinating to look at.
Or if you're dressed up as Mark Zuckerberg.
Quiet, meatbag, or else I'll shove my 40-watt range phase plasma rifle up your ass.
I just don't get why you guys forced me to dress up as Zenitsu.
Silence, fleshbag. He has narcolepsy and turns into a badass when he sleepwalks. He fits you to a literal T, minus the badass part. All you manage
I was gonna say, is he gonna say he's a badass when he falls asleep?
to do when you sleepwalk is fall down the stairs.
Fuck you. I wanted to dress up as Nappa from Dragon Ball Z.
Why?
Isn't it
Why the zoom? Why the zoom? Why? Why?
obvious, you Hinata simp? I am literally just as muscular as he is. In fact, I'm probably even more ripped than him.
Joe, I am Neji, so if I simped for Hinata, that would be extremely weird, seeing as to how she is my cousin.
So?
All right, then.
Anyways, if I went as Nappa, then we would have had 2 Dragon Ball Z characters in our group.
Who the hell is the other Dragon Ball character?
Barack,
What are you talking about, Joe?
aren't you Mr. Popo?
Fuck you.
Okay, that one got me good. Oh my goodness. Fuck you.
Joe. I am Commander Irwin, leader of the Survey Corps and a stoic commander who will sacrifice anything in order to ensure that Paradis can one day be free from the Titan threat outside of our walls.
I literally have no idea what any of that means.
Oh, so now you're in support of building walls.
When there are man-eating, behemoth-sized Titans on the other side of them, yes, I am.
Holy shit! Is that Annie Leonhardt over here? I fucking love you!
Donnie, shut the fuck up. You're making people stare.
But she's so fucking hot, Barack.
Hold on, let me use my Byakugan to see through her clothes.
Hang on. Let me see if my power scouter will work.
Joe, why do you have that? You're not even Nappa.
Initiating optical scan. High definition rendering mode enabled.
Fuck's sakes. All right.
You're eating a bag of croutons like a bag of chips? I've been there. I've been there.
Because of you 3 idiots, we have a lot of people staring at us now, so let's head over this way so we can lose them.
So, baby, what do you say we go to the private room over there and I can show you my Titan form, if you catch my drift?
Okay. So maybe we don't go that way.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the round-eyed fat Yankee president.
Oh shit, it's Kim Jong.
Did he seriously just call us fat?
Oh, hi there, Kim. Pleasure to see you here.
What is he doing here?
This is my town, Joey. Koreatown.
Actually, anime stems from Japan.
It will swear fealty to the People's Republic of Korea soon enough, Barack.
I found out through a short on YouTube today that Korea is the country with the longest uninterrupted slavery of all of them. Like 1,300 years or something, they had legal slavery. And I was like, no way. That had to have been like China, right? Like China had to be, because China's always the one that's like, oh, we did it first, we did it best. And I was like, I mean, I know it's slavery, but like maybe China also did slavery first and best and longest. But no, Korea, longest uninterrupted slavery. Surprised me. Very, very surprising.
It pains my eyes just to look at your pathetic costumes. Did you happen to buy them off Etsy? Perhaps Wish?
Hey, you ease off. Just because you run one of the most economically powerful countries with one of the strongest national incomes and highest GDP per capita both
North and South split has been what? 60 years now, versus 1,300 years. Samsung's been around 1,300 years. That's what I got out of that stat.
Doesn't mean that you can bully us.
Joe, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Dragon Ruse, if you didn't know, North and South split. There was literally a war. People alive back then.
That's right. Haven't you seen Red Dawn featuring Josh Peck, Donald? North Korea would absolutely obliterate the United States in a one-on-one war. An Agni Kai, where I would be Zuko, and you, the disgraced Admiral Zhao. Now let's see what I can see with my Sharingan eyes of mine. Yes, looks like we have a T-800, a crybaby demon slayer, a Hyuga, and last but not least, the Raikage.
I am actually Irvin from Attack on Titan.
Listen here, pencil pushers. I am the Nick that runs shit in these parts.
Oh, what the fuck, Barack? So he can say it, but you won't let me?
Don't look at me. I have no idea why he said that.
This is my domain, white boys. Everyone in this convention bows to me and sees me as a god.
My goodness, then maybe we should take his warning to heart.
Hey, Joey, check this out.
Amaterasu.
Ah!
Joe, what the fuck?
A brief glimpse of my ultimate power, Donald.
What the fuck is going on?
Look, how about we just go...
What the heck is going on with this? Usually it's the presidents just talking shit to each other, but now we got this whole, like, almost not AI version of Kim Jong showing up. What are we doing here?
our separate ways.
No way, Killer Bee.
Fuck's sakes, I am not a character from the village hidden in the clouds.
Wait, really?
He is Mr. Popo.
Ah, I see.
No, damn it. Look, what's it going to take for you to leave us alone?
Announce to the world that your nation is an unruly, imperialistic amalgamation of corruption. A dog without a leash that has prevented the consolidation of Korea.
Not happening.
Fine,
Videos have
then
a
it
lot-
shall be
yeah,
war.
Apparently.
All right.
Never mind, I take it back. There is perhaps one thing, however. Enter the Season 1 to Season 3 Attack on Titan trivia panel with me. If I win, you have to add me on Epic Games so we can run squads on Fortnite.
Fine.
Does this one lead into them playing with Kim Jong-un? Or Kim Jong-un, right? That's the new one? Yeah. Probably.
Yes, however, if you lose,
Jutsu.
you know what happens, Joey.
Oh God, please be merciful.
Joe, why are you so scared of him?
Didn't you see his abilities just a few seconds ago, Donald?
A dog that is all bark and no bite. That is what you are, Donald.
Oh, yeah? What are you then?
A Greek god.
Okay.
I must warn you, cheeseburger aficionados. I have won this trivia panel for 9 years straight. None have been able to topple me. Not even your planes would have any effect, George.
You know what? I'm not...
Oh my gosh. Look at that. We got 9/11 jokes now. It was an inside job, apparently. The next one is all in going to a haunted mansion. No, there should be like the presidents on Fortnite now with squads. Kim Jong.
Not scared of you anymore, Kim. And to prove it, I'll be the one to challenge you on stage.
See you at trivia time then, Joey. Oh, and Donald.
What?
I am the wolf, you the sheep. Remember that, and you will never be disappointed in yourself.
What the fuck?
Joe, what the hell were you thinking? You don't even know who I'm cosplaying as. How do you expect to beat Kim in a trivia panel?
Buck, I wasn't really thinking. He just insulted George, and I instinctively defended him.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
Here, Joe, stand still.
Help! I'm being groped.
Quiet, you half-wit bioorganism. I put an earpiece on you. That way we can communicate and the rest of us can tell you the answers while you're on stage. Of course, in about a decade, that earpiece will transform into an F-35 Global Cyber Raptor, an advanced fighter jet that will hunt humanity.
Yeah, they don't. He's getting actually like flipped back and forth as he's like talking to different people.
To extinction. For now, though, it will just let us beat Kim.
Damn, pretty handy, Donald.
Come on, let's head on over so we don't miss it.
Too.
All right, let's test this baby out. Unit 114, this is Command Mainframe Delta, inquiring about your status, over.
Oh my God. Lord Jesus, was that you? Is it finally my time to head to the pearly gates?
No, Joe, you necromantic ghoul. This is Donald. I'm just trying to see if you can hear me.
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Don't worry, boys. I'm ready to kick Kim's ass. I won't let you down.
Oh, shit. Look who's hosting the panel. It's Bill.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, Unit 114, we have just received updated information from Command. Scout units have just reported new
No, he's Aaron, or not Aaron. He's the Irwin from Attack on Titan.
information and a potential complication. The fluid sack, Bill Clinton, is the one hosting the panel.
Oh, fuck. We left on bad terms with him after that fishing trip.
Joe, it's okay. Thankfully you're in costume, so there's actually a high chance he won't recognize you.
Let's just hope he's impartial.
Kimmy Cakes, how goes my favorite Supreme Leader?
Ah, Mr. Clinton, what a beautiful cosplay you have on today. I also saw you earlier with the Haruno
Yeah, you don't remember
girl.
that
She is
part?
very lucky to be with such a young stallion such as yourself. Such a sexy couple indeed.
Oh, Kimmy Cakes, stop. You're making me blush.
Nonsense. You are a very handsome man. Also,
This is good practice for me to remember what to do when I go to an anime convention. And I host a panel on why you should drop anime. Don't let it pile up in your list. Drop it. I need to get that dropped theme song. You just got dropped. I need to make that a thing so that when I yell at people and tell them to drop things in real life, I can have a song to play so they don't get as upset at me.
you look very sexy today, Bill.
No, Serranos, he's actually cosplaying as Mr. Popo. You got it. You don't want to drop any? Trust me. There's anime you should drop.
You are quite the looker yourself, Kim.
What the fuck?
We are so fucked.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Although I don't see the point, I'm sure we all know who the winner will be.
You're so delicious, Bill.
I want you.
What the fuck is happening?
I have no fucking idea.
Small warning to the crowd, there will be 3 questions with very minimal spoilers, if even any at all. All questions will be about Season 1. Question 1, Season 1. What names did Hanji give the 2 captured Titans that were being experimented
Little
on?
Let It Die.
Sonny,
thing
Joe.
from the Lorax.
Bean and Sonny.
Joe, what are you doing?
There you
Oh,
go.
no. I think I fell asleep after he asked the question.
You dropped the anime but still watched it? That's happened once that I cared. Okay, it happened twice. But the first time it happened was because a bunch of people were like, oh, I like this show. And they were voting the main character as like top boy. I was so confused. And someone was like, it's as good as you think it is. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll watch it. And I watched it. It wasn't good. I didn't like it. Tomodachi Game sucked. The other time, chilling in my 30s. Ended up pretty mediocre, but I don't know. I still enjoyed it. So I don't know that I would drop it again.
Question.
Oh my god.
Unit 114, if your central processing unit is defective, return back to command effective immediately for recalibration and possible termination.
No. No more. I won't let this brute win. Trust me, fellas, I have this now.
Adderall.
When the Survey Corps ventured outside the walls and used a code of flares to indicate a problem, what was the sign of a black flare indicative of?
Oh shit, how the fuck am I supposed to remember that?
Even my memory banks could find no relevant data pertaining to that inquiry.
Too easy. I could literally go check my emails on my phone and Joe still wouldn't know.
An abnormal Titan.
Correct.
Impossible.
Holy shit, he's doing it, all without our help, too.
How is that even possible?
Only one explanation, gentlemen. The earpiece has already begun its evolution into becoming the F-35 Global Cyber Raptor.
Shut the fuck up, Donald.
Final question.
Oh fuck. Perhaps I became a bit too complacent.
You may have the stronger economy, Kim. However, when it comes to anime, you North Koreans cannot contest against the sheer number of U.S. American weebs.
Damn you and your...
That is a true statement. You could round up all the weebs and just airdrop them into Korea and we'd liberate that country in no time.
McDonald's chains around every block, Joey.
You know how many gun-toting weebs... You want to talk about transgenders that are like, oh, we should arm the transgenders. Look at me, I'm a transgender that has a gun. Weebs with guns far outpace transgenders with guns. They aren't even close to our level.
This line was said by which character? Annie Fall. This occurred...
Mikasa Ackerman.
Wow, I didn't even finish the question, but yes, you are correct. And the new trivia winner is this Demon Slayer fella right here. Sorry, Kim, looks like we have a new champion this expo.
Damn it all.
Joe, you did it. Holy hell.
That's my Joseph. Good stuff up there.
Unit 114, your mission objective has been completed with minimal flaw. Command recognizes your accomplishment and therefore retracts any statement of intent for termination.
Oh, thanks, guys. In truth, I couldn't do it without my Adderall. However, the reason I did it was for y'all. I will not stand idly by while some bully harasses my friends.
You know, Joe, next time you can dress up as Nappa. We won't give you any shit.
Oh, wow, hooray!
Well, John Connor was not located, and thus the embers sparking the rise of the human resistance have not been extinguished. However,
I'm pretty sure that was the year I went to AX, actually, was the Dragon Ball Super.
As Nappa.
Big
Skynet
banner.
still deems this day a success given Unit 114's performance.
Oh, hi, Kim.
I must admit, your knowledge and innate ability to respond to debates and questions in a rapid time interval exceeds even my own, Joey.
Thank you, I get that a lot.
However, be wary in knowing that I'm always lurking in the shadows, and wherever you adventure, I may reappear. Well, so long as the comments say they like my character and want me showing up again. Y'all know how it is. A chigga trying to do anything to secure a raid sponsor.
You were a worthy opponent, Kim, and props to you for not being a sore
where's my
loser.
raid sponsorship?
Indeed, Joey. It was an honor to lose by your hand. Also, one more thing, Donald.
What?
I masturbated in your Rolls Royce, and will continue to do it again when you are not watching.
What the hell?
Well, this was an eventful and adventure-packed day, gents.
I'll say.
You did all of us proud, Joe.
You did well, Organic. Perhaps when Skynet acquires sentience, I will tell them of your deeds so that they may spare you of the genocide that is to come.
Shut the hell up, Donald.
Abenobashi. Outtakes. Oh, and we get the real take next to the outtake on this one.
I just said it.
State your post. Admire my butt, soldier.
Sure is fluffy.
You know it.
General, a tank unit of the Pelican Army is apparently assembling in front of the Wakaba cigarette shop.
What? In front of Wakaba cigarettes?
General, maybe we can use Mune's massive ass to blast the enemy out of their position in front of the Wakaba cigarette shop.
What? In front of Wakaba cigarettes? Oh yeah! See if you can find my sausage taker while you're up there! Nebula 71, allow me to transform!
To Sashi, please transform. Immediately, please
This is the anime you watch? Yeah. So, you gotta remember, Fansite will not watch and enjoy anime if Funimation so much as breathes on it, which highly limits, now that Funimation, purchased by Crunchyroll and Sony, is touching all anime. So, their principles keep them unable to watch better shows.
transform.
Roger that! Nebula 71, allow me to transform!
I hear it's normal to have one testicle bigger than the other, but tell me, does this look awkward to you?
Hell if I know!
Hey,
Lofty
Sashi,
W is right again.
hurry up and come on home. It's time for dinner now.
Because Donnie's a G.
Hey, Sashi,
Wait,
Hurry
is there
up and
is there
come
a
here
Lofty
now.
W on Twitter, or are we
That's
talking
not
about a
even the
different
line.
Lofty W?
What am I saying?
Then, what about the grandpa who lives with us?
As far as our family goes, he ain't related.
What do you mean he ain't? Then, what about the grandpa who
Lofty
lives
W,
with
that is
us?
a
As far as our
sentence.
family goes, he
This
ain't
is a
related.
word and a letter.
must be
It's not even a
shitting me.
sentence.
Amirun will never forgive you!
No, please, come on.
Okay, give it up, move it along.
Amirun, I'm sorry.
Time to go, Sashi. Amirun will never forgive you!
No, please, come on.
Look, bitch,
Don't let
Sashi's
freaks
mine,
stop
get it?
you from
Amirun, I'm
enjoying
sorry.
stuff.
Time to go, Sashi.
Like the fried noodle sandwich.
It's true.
part.
It's
Is
true.
that a no?
What kind of dummy do you take me for? Like the fried noodle sandwich part. I'm a kitty.
What kind of dummy do you take me for?
I found myself standing alone in a...
You know, when you see anime and they have southern accents, my immediate assumption is that they're from like the Kansai area, or yeah, Kansai area, like Osaka and everything. However, I don't think that's the case here.
strange land. I found myself standing alone, facing the Motley Crue logo.
You said I got potential, didn't you?
You said the Toko ones got nuked. Not my fault. YouTube can't fair use anymore. I mean, there's other websites, right?
Yes, that's exactly the reason you're in this situation.
You hate it when anime dubs have southern accents. It's surprisingly appropriate. So, in Tokyo, in Kanto, you're one of a billion people, and everyone will pass you by as they do their job and get their life completed throughout the day. When you go to Kansai, you will have the Kansai Obachan, who shows up and is like, "Aren't you a cute foreign couple?" and gives you candy. You'll be walking and looking for something, and an old lady will be like, "What are you looking for?" And you're like, "This." And she's like, "Oh, follow me." And she will walk halfway across town to show you where you're trying to get to. And just, you know, "Oh, over there," doesn't want anything in return. You'll be walking through the restaurant areas, through the bar areas, and you'll be looking in some of the windows, and you'll look in, and there'll be a group of people, and this salaryman starts waving you in, making crazy motions, and you go in, and he ends up being the like the sales manager for a local sake brewery, and he's doing a sampling, and he's like, he wants to know what foreigners think of his sake, and buys you some Odin, and you're like, "Well, Odin's not the best, but like I'm always down for free." Plus he's handing out sake sampling. Hell yeah. Kansai is the friendly South. So while you may be annoyed at someone who doesn't have a Southern accent trying to put on a Southern accent, they have ostensibly similar vibes, very similar feels. Much more friendly, warmer talking. They won't call you stupid. They'll say, "Oh, that's precious." You know, they everything is wrapped with that veneer of nicety. And Kansai is very similar. Versus up here, you know, we're famous for our Seattle freeze, where we don't give you the time of day unless you talk, and then we're like, "Oh yeah, we can talk all night." But we ignore all other human life. Gaijin got candy from Japanese people multiple times. Multiple times. First time I was on the honeymoon. She gave us a big bag of lemon candies. A lot of lemon candies. You say those metrosexuals putting on an accent they don't have any appreciation for. There you go. We can agree then. Bless your heart, Blaine. Thank you. That'll be the new eat shit, Blaine. Bless your heart, Blaine. Except Michael's from California. I don't think he knows what bless your heart means. Howdy, Baka. Watashi wa the fastest gun in the West. This capsule hotel ain't big enough for the both of us. That is, I don't know if anyone else ever notices this, but I got this a lot from the gun shop when people we'd have a lot of they were citizens, but they were more fluent in Chinese or Korean or other languages, and we had sales staff that spoke Chinese, that spoke Korean, that spoke different languages, and when you're talking to somebody in a foreign language, like I'm gonna be like talking about the gun, I'm like, "Oh, utsukushi, no," and then you talk about like a part of the gun, you'll stop and your voice will change. It'll be like bolt, and like you speak very English. And the best was any time that our Chinese staff or Chinese speaking staff would be talking, because Chinese is one of these like interesting languages that is so flowy. It's like very instrumental as they're talking. And so you would be listening to somebody selling somebody on a gun, and they'd be like, Trigger. Colt. And you get this sort of like this, like it's a very, very flowing, interesting musical tones going back and forth. And then just Trigger. Colt. Like it's so funny to listen to. And I would have to go to the back room sometimes because I would start like cracking up if I was on the sales floor while I was listening to that. Korean, not so much, but a little bit with Korean. But that was more I think it's more just because of the Korean buyers were always funny. Are those just hard candies? You hate gooey candies? You said gooey and not gummy. They were a bag of hard candy, yeah. That first time. I've had some gummies. They're like high chews and stuff, kind of like a Starburst, basically. Gushers are bad. Oh, I see. Hacking out like gummy bears. I love gummy bears, yeah. Black Forest gummy worms. That's some good stuff. I think my favorite to this day, well, favorite when I was a kid, favorite to this day, and I think the fact that like you have to go to like the candy store to get them usually, made them even better in my brain. But I love Candy Sharks, the blue on top, white bellied candy gummy sharks. That like, I eat healthy. I try to stay fit. I do all that stuff. But if there was a quick, easy, and at-hand way for me to have gummy sharks, you better believe Ethan Ralph better gonna get knocked off his top of the sector as this fat tub of lard rolls up on him after eating 400 pounds of gummy sharks. Whoo! I could go gunt to gunt with Ethan Ralph if I had a unlimited supply of gummy sharks. Disloyal. He's a disloyal one. He left America, but I stuck around and I ate all the gummy sharks, and you know, his gun's not gonna handle my gun at the end of the day, if you know what I mean. You can't eat a lot now to activate the sugar eyes. Oh, yes, the butter is coated is very smooth. Yeah, there was Japanese clients that I would talk to. And then there was a deaf client that I would usually talk with because for some reason waifu knows sign language. That was her. In our high school, you had to pick a language, and she chose sign language. So I know at least finger spelling plus some words, and that made me the person who could speak sign language with the deaf guy. But it's a lot of pantomiming, so even if I was wrong, he still knew what I meant. So that always was funny to me. Also, trying to tell a deaf person that they need to wear hearing protection when they're out on the shooting range is always a funny thing because they're like, "What? I can't hear." And you're like, "Yeah, but like damages your brain. Like you'll know things anymore." Like it's a really funny thing to try to explain because they don't get that like you think about it being a loud noise, you don't realize it's a shock wave, right? That can rattle your brain can. And you're like, well, I can't hear anyway, so why would I worry about being able to hear if I'm deaf? And it's like, no, there's other damage that can happen. It comes in through the bone on the back of your skull too. So wearing big earmuffs is preferred. But why? I can still to this day I can still hear that voice. Why? I can't hear. And it's like, yeah, I know, but oh man. That explains so much. Wait, what explains so much? How far back are you, fansite? You like Tootsie Rolls, okay. You know a chick that knew sign language back in high school? You don't really like taffy. My problem with like saltwater taffy is that it's always like, oh, this is chocolate flavored. You're like, oh. Or like, oh, this one's root beer flavored. And you're like, ah. Like the flavor is never like great, and it just sticks around for so long. You're like, why? If I want the flavors that these things are, I'll just eat the things that they're supposed to be flavored as. Or have a hard candy that's better. Like a root beer barrel tastes 1,000 times better than like a root beer flavored taffy. Nah, I'm not a taffy fan. Literal liquid candies, like I said, Gushers or whatever. Nah. What other liquid candies are there? Like maybe one of those dip 'em type of things where you have like a jelly that you like scoop out. I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking of like a liquidy candy that's not a gut. Not, you said Gusher, and I'm like, I don't even know what another one is. Knowing outtakes. We added knowing to the list of things. To the list of videos, anime you should watch from the 2000s. So don't worry, it's handled. Wait, who owns? I have a friend who owns Surviving Mars, the game. Is that you, Serranos? Do you play this game? It is you. Surviving Mars fun game. Pretty uncommon, but companies have tried to make them a thing many times in the past. Never know the liquid dipper candy is now Fun Dip. That's cocaine for kids. You even give them a little like stick so they can line it up before they straight across it. Ah, do you remember? Was this just my high school or middle school? But does anybody remember snorting pixie sticks? You know, like your cousin is like, yeah, snort them. It's the best way to have them. And you're like, okay. And it just burns your nose. And you're like, the hell would I do that? Oh. Did you guys add Inuyasha to that list? Yes, Inuyasha is on the 2000 to 2003 list because the multi-year series always default to the first year. Unless they have multiple seasons. So like Full Metal Panic, there's a season 1 and a season 2. So that's on both the 2000 and the 2003 list. But the ones that like Inuyasha and Naruto, where they had years that they were going. Never snorted a pixie stick because I'm not stupid. Never lived if you haven't snorted a pixie stick. Get the sugar straight to your brain. Really gets it going. Sniffing Sharpies was the shit back in the day? Come on, what are you? These children don't even know. Making candles out of Elmer's glue. Snorting pixie sticks. Oh my gosh. Lunchtime trade up so that you can go from the ham and cheese to the peanut butter and honey. You gotta play the game. Wow, there's a lot of people live tonight. I'm surprised. Midori Days outtakes. We looked at Midori Days. Isn't this the one where the guy's hand is a girl? That's so funny. To think that we used to have a show where a little girl was on a guy's hand, and now we have one where a guy's penis is a girl. Anime's gotten very straighted. Very strange. Straighted? What the hell does that even mean? Lunch was ruined by Manchel. What the hell? How's Manchel? Did you misspell that? A pizzeria? I don't know what that means. What is Manshell? Is that a person? Was that Michelle? Sniffing pixie sticks? No comment. What? Come on. This isn't. I know at least a dozen kids in my like class of 60 that have snorted pixie sticks. Oh man, grand jury indicts former president Donald Trump. Why does everyone say former president? Aren't you supposed to just say president? Isn't like if we say President Jimmy Carter, right? We don't say former President Carter. Let me look that up. Hold on. President Jimmy Carter. I picked Carter just because of a thing. Because he's old enough that who cares? President. Give me an article about Jimmy Carter that uses the term President Carter. No, they say former president. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Michelle Obunga ruined school lunch. Oh, I see. Manshell is another name for Michael. Oh, I see. That's what we're talking about. They're literally not president. Right, but I thought it was one of those things where, like, you never get to not be called that. Like, it was the one thing that, like, you were for life. It's like when the bureaucrats say the Ukraine. Do we know what he got indicted for yet? Hold on. Grand jury indict. Indict. Troop. I wonder if Vegas has a bet as to what the indictment is for. CNN article. 30 counts related to business fraud? What? Oh, man. Oh, yeah, and I haven't talked about a single person who misunderstood or disagreed on X came out before I was born. Serrano's W. Wait, hold on. Before we get too anecdotal on this, what is the claim on this X came out before I was born? I was not listening during that part of the conversation. I remember noise, and then there was a high-pitched squeal, and I haven't gone back to look at that episode to, like, cut it for highlights or anything. What is the argument about, like, oh, such and such came out before I was born? Is the Pope that retired still called the Pope? No, a Pope that's retired is called dead. They don't have any titles anymore other than corpse. That's their thing. How a TV show started before I was born and it continued airing after I was born. So I said it came out before I was born because it did. Star Wars came out before I was born. Well, Star Wars is usually you're talking about the movie, right? I feel like if you want to get pedantic, if you want to get real pedantic with it, you would say something that came out and ended ostensibly before you were born. That is a thing that came out before you were born. But if you want to say something came out before you were born and then was airing, up until, even today, perhaps you can say, oh, it started before I was born. That would be the most pedantic way to say those sentences. Like Simpsons came out before I was born. I would say Simpsons started before I was born. If you want to be like very specific so people know what you mean. But I don't know that you need to do that in most conversations. I think most people can assume. Like especially with something like Simpsons, right? Like Simpsons is an obvious. It's on for so long. So if you say, "Oh, Simpsons came out before I was born," like people get that it's like still going, basically. So Elton John came out before I was born. Hold on, let me check. When did Elton John come out officially? "1976. Yep. But in 1993, he began a relationship with David Furnish, an advertising executive turned filmmaker. What an interesting. Bisexual in 76, gay in 88, and then in 93, began a relationship. What a strange little timeline he gives him there. I'm still standing after all this time. True survivor. 9/11 came out before Michael was born. That came out before you were born, too, I bet. Your question, can someone go back in the closet after coming out? Yes, because if they come out like, I'm gay, and then they proceed to be gay for a while, and then they go back to dating women and then tell people they aren't gay, but they're secretly still gay, they just ran into some problems with them being publicly gay, then yes, you could go back into the closet. I don't know that you've got any examples on it. I don't know that you've got any examples on that, but Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh, you got it right there. There's your example. Perfect. Does anyone believe that Milo is not still Milo Minneapolis? Nobody knows how to spell his damn name. But does anybody in the world believe that Milo Yiannopoulos is not still attracted to men? No. Now, does that mean that they're personally closeted and we're all the ones being like, we know you're in there? I don't know. I don't know how deep this train goes, but I don't really care to find out. Let's see. But do we have a list of actual charges here? I'm still trying to find it. Trump has long avoided legal consequences in his personal, professional, and political lives. So many lives. You got the perfect list. Never heard of him? Good. Oh, man. It's like, I don't know who. What? I don't know who Nick Fuentes is. Good. It's probably for the best. You're back from the Canadian stream? Welcome back. How are you doing? We're trying to figure out what Trump was indicted for. So we're not very escapey cornery. We're talking about the things that you try to escape from, like indictments. But all I can see is 30 charges. Yeah, how can you say, hold on, how can you say this? Faces more than 30 counts related to business fraud in an indictment from a Manhattan grand jury, according to two sources familiar with the case. The first time in American history that current or former president has faced criminal charges. Trump is expected to appear in court on Tuesday. The indictment has been filed under seal. I don't know if I trust something that says, oh, it's like 30 of them for business stuff. And then it's filed under seal. Like, obviously, you can't give up your sources, but that's kind of, meh. We'll see. Trump traded to Brazil confirmed. Becoming a skeleton waiting for the arrest. I don't think there was going to be an arrest. That would be stupid. That would be stupid. Should simply be a, let him show up. You can't trust CNN against Republicans. You should always read CNN when it's involving a Republican, and you should always read Fox when it's involving a Democrat. Those are the rules. That's how you see the craziest stories. Are we trading Trump for Bolsonaro? Maybe. Maybe. That's a bad set of rules? I don't know. I have fun with it. What do you want in life? Do you want your life to be fun? Or do you want it to be boring? Get your news from America Uncovered on YouTube. America Uncovered. If this is a Canadian, I'm going to laugh. Chris Chappelle. Who is Chris Chappelle? The show opposes the Chinese Communist Party. What the? Blader, stop blading. Blader, stop blading. Blader, stop blading. So Chris Chappelle used to do a thing called China Uncensored, where he did a look inside life and love in today's China. A lot of Chinese stuff. $50 Chappelle. Wow, this guy had a lot of stuff on China back in 2013. Not so much anymore. I like that their main video, though, is a... Look at all of this. Is America ready? It is a Chinese guy. They have 3 channels: China Uncensored, China Unscripted, and America Uncovered. This is America Uncovered. Is America ready for war with China? California says police dogs are racist. Trump will be arrested. New evidence suggests China is selling weapons to Russia. So, China. Gosh, I hope they don't have a thumbnail that is bad for me. Democrats furious. I was hoping we could maintain the one. How China is beating the U.S. Navy. Hold on. How China is beating the U.S. Navy? Still on, going. I'm sub to all 3. This is insane.
China is rapidly building up its navy, while the U.S. Navy struggles behind. Is it too late to turn this ship around?
All right, you did it, Dragon Ruse. Talk about Fire Emblem? No, we're talking about different war tactics. U.S. naval spending. The Department of the Navy's budget request is $255.8 billion, an increase of 4.5% from the 2023 enacted budget. Let's see, what was our 2021 spending? Oh, here we go. Our military spending looks like it's on the way up. Looks like it's getting bigger and bigger every year. 734, 778. This is full military though, not just the Navy. And then up to the 800. China naval spending. China allocated approximately $293 billion to military spending in 2021. China spends a quarter of what we spend on our military, on our entire military. Trump is going to be exiled, go on a training arc around the world, finishing with Christmas in Japan 2023, receiving the final piece he needed, Japanese KFC. Oh my gosh, if he comes back with a bucket of Japanese KFC, he will be unstoppable. Trump will learn his ultimate technique, Trump card. Blaine hates us. He's forsaken us and left us as the blader of a shell of himself. Just because you left the stream doesn't mean that I've changed. How much of the budget is going toward transition surgery? Probably not as much as you think. All right, let's see. Let's see, China time. Oh, look, one of the worst airplanes in the world. Bad idea.
Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. The U.S. became a superpower thanks largely to its naval power. That's the way it's been throughout history. Sea power makes great powers. That's a lesson that
Fat lot of good the Navy did in Iraq. What? What's the point here? Oh, the China Channel. Yeah, exactly.
that China has taken to
seen
heart.
Top Gun Maverick is
when
on
the
the plane
U.S.
about to
seems to have
pilot.
forgotten. The U.S. is rapidly falling behind China in the number of naval ships. China's Navy is now ahead of the curve when
So,
it comes to shipbuilding.
total
It's outpacing
ships
the U.S.
or
by
ships
orders of
produced?
magnitude. We don't know the exact number of Chinese ships because the Chinese Communist Party doesn't publicize much about its navy.
Okay, how many ships in the Chinese Navy? 2020, around 340 warships, according to... Oh, now has 340 warships, according to Pentagon's 2022 China Military Power Report, released in November. How many ships in the U.S. Navy? 480. So we have 340 to 480.
Navy. They keep it more hidden
Sea power
than
makes
kids
great
playing
power. Remember the
Battleship.
Korean turtle
But,
boats?
according to the Pentagon's 2022 China Military Power Report, the People's
People laugh about Russia's tech against Ukraine. China's tech is worse. Oh, but if America Uncovered is correct, then Russia is using Chinese tech. China has finished the work on the ooze. They're creating Ninja Turtles as we speak. Soon they'll be teenage and ready to fight. We can get our hands on some so we can make Bebop and Rick Steady. Rocksteady, yes. You visit the warship porn subreddit every few months. New ships being kneeled out or one is launching. Weird flex. I think that's your own skill problem.
Liberation Army Navy is numerically the largest navy in the world, with an overall battle force of approximately 340 ships and submarines. A lot of it was built within the last decade, which proves you can do anything you set your mind to when you don't care about human suffering. According to the Office of Naval Intelligence, from 2000 to 2020, China's battle fleet grew by 150 ships. During that same time period, the number of U.S. ships shrank by 21. The U.S.
Those don't add up to what I was just looking at. Goals versus reality? Oh, I think I know what he's looking at. I think I know what he did. We have two navies. We have our active navy and we have our reserve fleet. I wonder if this is reserve or active naval and doesn't include our reserve naval. That would be interesting, a little bit of data to know.
The U.S. hasn't had more than 300 naval ships since 2003. This is by far below the Navy's 2016 goal of having 355 ships by 2020. Yeah, the U.S.
saying
overshot
China's
a bit.
building more ships a
It looks like the
decade than
U.S.'s
America
current
is?
force.
So? Let's say they are. Do you really think that a Chinese-built warship is going to be better than an American-built one? I don't see cause for concern, even if they had more numbers.
Of 298 ships won't reach 300
Saying Chinese is
until
building
sometime
more
in
ships a decade than
2033 or
America is.
35.
Definitely not.
That's because according to the
Exactly.
Navy's 2023 shipbuilding plan, the number of ships will actually drop over the next decade. And even according to the U.S. Navy's more ambitious 2022 navigation plan, the U.S. will have 350 manned ships by 2045, assuming the plans all go smoothly. But it will still be outnumbered by China, which may already have 400 ships by as soon as 2025. Now, a lot of these ships include support ships, but even if we count only warships like aircraft carriers, surface combatants, and submarines, the U.S. will just maybe match the number of China's ships.
Warships are far less important than carriers and their capabilities against carriers. Right? Submarines and carriers changed the face of naval battle. We went from two ships that were trying to put each other next to each other to literal RTS tactics of moving my base around so that we can have the best vantage to attack from.
By 2040. Why is it
China's
taking the
gonna
U.S.
Zerg
so
rush her.
long to
It's a-
make ships?
Damn them!
Who's
they're
building
Zerg
them?
rushes.
Tom Hanks' character from Castaway? Quit blubbering about your volleyball and get back to work. Of course, numbers don't tell the whole picture. U.S. ships on average
China's trying
are
to match
bigger
the
and
US
carry
and
more
carriers, but their
firepower than
carriers are
Chinese
still
ships.
dog shit last I
For
checked.
example, the U.S. has more than 9,000 vertical launch missile cells across its ships, compared to China's 1,000, and 50 nuclear-powered submarines compared to China's 7. So this is like
To be
that
fair,
age-old
our electric
philosophical
submarines are
question.
doing better,
Would you
too.
rather fight one horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized Chinese warships? But the quality of China's ships is catching up. Thank you,
tech.
Western technology. So the U.S. needs to take...
I love that his articles that he's linking and like showing are articles from like their website. That's my favorite part of this. Dragon, this shit is cringe. I'm gonna bully you for liking it. He's very biased against China. Oh, I got that. I got that from the anti-China entire website. He dislikes China very strongly. Do you think he was like cucked while he was in Beijing? Is that what happened? Is that what we're looking at right now? The sad face of a man cucked by a Chinaman. Could you imagine? It's terrible. Terrible thing. Mostly because their characters are genuinely tiny. They have to fold up their ships like little origami. Little Japanese origami ships. Michael, you have no right to call anything cringe. It's true. You get on here, you start talking Fire Emblem ass bullshit. At least this led me to Googling things. So now I know how many like boats we have, that we divide them into like 2 different camps of active and reserve. Like come on. our Navy has a second string waiting on the bench. Like, put me in, coach. Like, come on. I don't see any concern yet. Ooh, I want to learn about meat. I'm gonna watch this later. I always like seeing people's opinions about steak. You have a very busy day. You don't remember you streaming 14 hours of Jim. No, go to his Let's Play channel, Gamers Unbeaten. No, it's Gamers Uncovered. Michael, you worked like 9 hours a day. I had such a nice day today. Today was cleanup day. Yesterday I finished up all the stuff on the trailer as far as like the plumbing and the electrical, and I just got to spend today putting all of my tools back where they're supposed to be, putting all the like, this is scrap but it's still useful in the future scrap. This is scrap that should get thrown away, organizing all that. Like, it feels good when you finish. You're supposed to be a sub for a few extra hours. Oof. And Coast Guard. Don't forget about those guys. Yeah. Don't forget about those guys that wear the hell's the stupid life jackets. I don't even know. I have a boating license and I don't even remember what life jackets are called. Saying about to struggle more. Your attempt to one up me is unwarranted. Oh, he's feeling a little peckish, isn't he? You're 14 hours older, piss baby. Easy. Ooh, Casually Explained did a video on knife making. Anyway. All right, I'm just scrolling around now. What the hell are we doing right now? Oh, I can't wait for next season. Anyway, you like Rosado? Nice. I really wanted to. I was thinking about looking at the spring 2023 season. Remember when Blaine played Minecraft? No. Serranos, you still got that server? I feel like we'd have to upgrade it a bit. Remember when you stopped playing Minecraft? Yeah. You do. Oh, that's right. You were like, it's practically free. We could jump into that again. I had to figure out something to do as far as like gaming commentary stuff. I like reacting to the presidential anime stuff. I think those are fun. Those are fun to watch. But there's gotta be something else out there. I wonder if there's anyone in the anime community that'll beef with me over something big enough that we can do some back and forth on it. You do know what you did, Michael. Play Ark or Fire Emblem? I'd play Ark. I kind of like... I want to watch... What I'd like to do is go into, like, Trash Taste or maybe Bonsai Pop and do some commentary on something they're covering and talking about. I feel like that could help the channel grow. But at the same time, I just can't listen to all of their conversations about whatever they're talking about. You have 7 days to die if you don't want to play Sons of the Forest. 7 days might be fun. I'll have to check Sons of the Forest, see if it's see if it's updated a little bit more, because that I like Sons of the Forest. I like what they've updated. I like the changes. My issue is only that it's still so early access that it's missing stuff that's in their little tutorial. So I'd like that stuff to be in there. I want to build gates on my defensive walls. So I think once that is there, I think that might be fun. As long as you shit on Trash Chase, I'm all for it. Probably a fair bet. It'll usually be shitting on Connor for not knowing something or not being aware of something. Shitting on Joey because he's a goofball who I feel like has a very intellectual view of Japan. And then half agreeing, half shitting on Gakuk. That would probably be the majority of that. Honestly, I do not see how you don't have more subs. Your rants are great. Thank you, Dragon Ruse. Make sure to tell your friends. The big reason I don't have more subs would be my lack of highlighting. If I had more highlights that cross post onto like highlight channels and other short form content that could draw more people in, that wasn't just me cutting a short, like actually like editing shorts or doing a full highlights channel, that's usually what drives people in, because there's an entire group of people that won't click your video that's a couple hour long live stream, but they will watch your 10-minute on this, your 20-minute on this, your 15-minute on this, or whatever your highlight is, and then they watch enough of those highlights that eventually they want to watch the live stream. So it's sort of a growth potential there, but I don't do that. I don't do that, unfortunately. I could do more. I could do more of those highlights, but we'll see. All the big anime channels are commie shills. That is kind of the other half of it, is that so much of the time that we find other anime content, it's like, what is queer in anime? And then also I don't get a lot of the weird thing is, like, I kind of want to reach out to this anime tea person. I've seen some of their content. I like it. I feel like I could have a conversation about anime, and maybe that's where I turn to. Is I turn to having anime conversations. We generate a list of like questions or ideas, and then we just kind of see where the conversation takes us, and we talk to different anime YouTubers to like get into their stuff, because usually the people that will interact and communicate with you as a smaller YouTuber are other like medium to small YouTubers as well. So anime guy, I can go onto his channel. I'll be on his channel tomorrow, so that's good. We're talking. I'm 5 to 12 viewers. Anime guy is in the like 20s, right? So it's not a lightning jump, right? And then like I can get Sitch and Adam to reply to me sometimes, and people from like the political sphere will reply. But I don't know if I want my channel to go full political. I feel like that's kind of the antithesis of what I'm trying to do. But maybe it does go back to like my core idea of creating a place where people can get together and they can talk about stuff that they enjoy talking about, and maybe people just enjoy talking about stuff like how I love talking about business. I love the ins and outs in business. I love tax, right? Not as I have to pay a thing, but the concept and the ideas and like, how do we get it? What do we do with it? But there's not like good conversations out there about tax, right? If you said corporations pay 100% in taxes, every corporation's profits drop to zero, and all of their payroll and their board members still walk away with the same amount of money, if not more, because they aren't gonna leave it in the company bank account, right? I like those discussions. I like the way that you like gamify money in business. I think those are fun conversations to have. But I don't know. I don't know if that makes other people sad. Cause I don't know. Maybe I attract other people that would like enjoy listening to those conversations or whatever. Planescape Corner doesn't talk about anime even. I talk about anime. We talked about anime conventions too. You missed the best autism you've had all month last week. What did I do? What was my autism? Nobody to blame but yourself. Pedantic romantic. Oof. Do you rewatch shows? Is a decent question. That is a good question, actually. Don't remind me of that every time. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about shows we rewatch and leave Blaine out of the talk. Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. Right-wing politubers talk and interact a lot with a large community. Exactly. They do. They do. And that's sort of the Lofty thing, though, is like we talk with Lofty and it's like even he gets real negative about pop culture. It's like I don't like how negative a lot of the anti-woke, the counterculture, the whatever they want to label themselves, YouTubers can be. Going full political is definitely equivalent to going full retard from Tropic Summer. Yeah, I don't want to go political, but I like business. I like the like I said, the gamification of money. I always enjoy that. What you drinking? Kidda, I'm having a Balvenie Doublewood 12-year tonight. In my Chica sake cup. You bring up anime and the let me see your panties looks come make a disgusting face while he's showing me your panties. Best anime of all time. Yeah, and he's the optimist. Exactly. That's the weirdest part about that. Are you waking up, Kidda? Is that the time zone you're in right now? I'm in the 9:30 p.m. timeline. Did you post this already? Maybe. So can I see him or not? The da bloopers? Ooh, da that seems too fresh. And that Aniplex logo, that's gonna get me struck. A lot of people hate Lofty because he spoke the truth. Yep, you're waking up. Nice. Well, welcome to the Escape Corner, where we talk about anime, games, and business, taxes, whatever the hell we want to. Today we talked about guns, transgenders, and I don't know, anime conventions. Conventions. Oh, that was a good one. Talking about conventions. I need to chop that and make that into a highlight. But am I going to take the, hour it takes to chop that up tomorrow in the midst of everything I have to do for the trailer? Clean it up, make sure it's ready, get it down, get the licensing done tomorrow. I don't know. I was worried you were finishing off. Finishing off what? I'm having a what is this called? Is this introspection? Is it introspection when you're talking with an audience? I don't know if that's the term anymore. Finishing stream. There you go. Thank you for clarifying. Let's see. Let's watch let's pull up Anime T. Let's pull this one up. Cause Anime T and Colleen's Manga Rex have both been popping up. Don't worry, I'll distract Blaine so he won't leave. Have both been popping up in my recommended feeds. Dang, an hour, I can't do that. I'd rather play games and do dishes than edit something. I enjoy editing things. The issue just comes in when I have other things to do. And it's like I don't really want to pay an editor. Yeah, that's why people get paid to be editors. It's true. Find me an editor that'll work on a profit split with a YouTube channel that only has 250 subscribers. So this is what we're looking for is this somebody that I should reach out to? We should talk to, see if we can set up a chat with, potentially about their anime takes, about whatever it is. Because I feel like I do enjoy those. They do tend to go long. Like my Joe Ball conversation, when I was talking with Joe Ball, when we hit end stream, we talked for another 4 hours. There's 4 hours of unrecorded me and Joe Ball content, just getting to know each other. Me and that vanilla gorilla. Dishes are your go-to procrastination? It's crazy. This is the Bunny Girl anime. The one on the screen currently is the Bunny Girl anime, yeah. Y'all in love. Have you seen the vanilla gorilla? He does crazy artwork. All right, let's see.
Tropes exist in anime, from cold but lovable tsunderes to loud protagonists who seem to get stronger by screaming everything they say. Some of these are cute, others annoying, and many cliche. There's one character archetype that recently recaptured my attention. It's a trope that made me question, why are
You hate women that drink? What? I drink. Why would I hate women that do that? That would be apocryphal.
women in anime so obsessed with alcohol? Hey my friends, my name is Phoenix, and as always make sure to grab your cup or your shot glass because it's time to spill the anime tequila, anime tea, and let's get to the bottom of why anime is so obsessed with alcoholic women.
Okay, we got an Evangelion shirt, but it's a rebuild shirt. So, interesting. It's a funnier question with them being a trap. Anime tequila, yeah.
Cheers. This is water, by the way, just in case. So before anyone comes for me, I know someone's going to be there in the comments saying, why are you only specifically talking about women in anime who drink alcohol when there's a bunch of men and other characters that love alcohol just as much? And the answer basically is just because I want to. I don't know. I like women in anime, as do most other people who talk about anime, and I want to talk about specifically why women in anime are shown to drink a lot of alcohol. Is there some deeper meaning to it? Is there some reason why sometimes these women, their only personality trait is that they drink a lot?
You haven't wore any anime shirts? I feel like my entire drawer is full of anime shirts and then like shirts that I've designed. Like those are the only two types of shirts that I have. It's not even tea? Yeah, it should be tea. Why is it not?
I mean, is it just lazy writing to add alcohol into a scene, knowing that if the characters drink it, they're going to do something interesting or funny? Or is it possible that they're talking more about Japan as a society and its relationship with alcohol within one of our favorite anime?
Japanese people love alcohol. They sleep on the street, they get so drunk. It's amazing. I got wasted the night before we were supposed to leave. And then when we were heading to the plane, this was like our 5th trip or something. And I'm sitting on the train. Waifu's next to me. We have all of our luggage. And I'm like, I'm going to hurl. And I just walked off the train and started puking on the train tracks. And the train doors closed and it just left. She was pissed. But the cop comes up and he's like, Osaka desu ne. And I was like, hi. So like he comes up and he's like, you had too much to drink? And I was like, yeah, where's the bathroom? And he like pointed me to like where the bathroom was, and I stumbled over and like cleaned up. It was awful. I painted those tracks with my vom. That was awful. And then when I finally got on the next train and made it to where Waifu was, kind of wish I got hit by the train instead.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Well drinks are superior outside the United States because in Japan, their well whiskey is Suntory Kakubin, the yellow box. I love that whiskey. And it's just their well everywhere.
So alcohol has more meaning than you might think, and this is especially the case in Japan, where traditions passed down for generations have affected the way people consume alcohol to this day. Booze basically has its own hidden language, like flowers, but
I'm a Kirin Ichiban guy myself, Michael. Sapporo, good. I've been to the Sapporo brewery, actually, up in Hokkaido. They have a thing called Chinggis Khan, which is like Genghis Khan's name in Japan. And they have a domed thing that you cook your meat on. So, or you cook your meat on it, and your veggies all go around it. So the meat juices roll down to your veggies. So the whole thing cooks up real nice. Bronx over on Kick dropped a follow. What's up? How are you doing, Bronx? Thank you for that. I like that I can literally just like click on people's name. I'm not above a follow for follow. I'm okay with it. They're honest with what they want. It's my choice whether I click their link or not. Maybe I like them, maybe I don't. We'll see. Now I just want to go buy Japanese whiskey. Where are you? Are you allowed to get Kakubin? Because I have 2 more liters of Kakubin, and I'm not going back to Japan until this fall, so I need to make it last. But this thing. This is the Japanese Kakubin whiskey. It's sort of a yellow sticker, just says Suntory whiskey. This is a 700 milliliter bottle, would cost $130 here stateside. This bottle in Japan is 1,000 yen. Converted, that's like $7. That is a fantastic whiskey. You can't get it stateside outside of like a weird special order, but like whenever I go to Japan, I always buy as much as I am illegally allowed to bring back to America, and not a drop more. You're a Firestone. That thing made me sick. No, I don't. It doesn't sound familiar. Japanese are lushes. They need the nuke in 21st. You don't want his Kakubin. No, Kokubin means Japanese box. There's Japanese gin here at least. The Suntory gin or the Roku gin, that's a very smooth gin. I still would mix it, but it is a very good gin. And for $7, yeah, exactly.
much more chaotic. Symbolically, the act of drinking itself is a sign of adulthood in many cultures, and it's not much different in Japan or in anime. However, the types of drinks and the locations and situations that people find themselves drinking in it can insinuate different aspects of a character's personality within a series, especially for anime. The types of drinks that a character has might...
In Washington, we have Mount Rainier, and we actually make Rainier gin, and it's got a really good juniper taste to it, but I don't know if you can get that wherever you're at. If you ever see Rainier gin, it's got a big red R on it. Such a weird relation with this woman's voice. It's too soft. She's talking very nicely, and that's why she has a lapel mic. This is a very, very lapel mic. What people don't understand about lapel mics is that when you mount them, you need to talk like if I had a lapel mic on, I would still have to talk like this in a voice that's way up here while I'm talking through a lapel mic. Because the lapel mics are designed to pick up the frequencies as someone is talking to a crowd. And when they're talking to a crowd, it's very like projected, very loud. So they're designed to not pick up a lot. Plus, they're so close to your chest, they pick up a lot of like subtle vibrations off of you. And they can lead to that very muffled noise that happens because she's not loud enough and she's cranking it up so that you can actually hear all of her words. Drunk nerd trope, drinks after work trope, beer at the end of the day trope. It's a thing. You're in Dubai. Ooh, get a. I bet you see some interesting cars over there. While looking for Lamey whiskey, you discovered a brandy bottle in the shape of Johnny Hancock. No, it's loud enough, but it's very breathy. Oh, yeah, I did. I grew up in church, and in our Baptist church, my father was the sound guy, and then I did sound from the time I was like 13. Well, I guess technically I was learning it. I was learning it and helping when I was like 8, but that was like hold the flashlight kind of help. If that makes sense to anybody. And then I was doing it from like 10, 13 up to 18 when I finally moved out.
Indicate their age or personality type, and the places and situations that they have the drinks indicate the type of person they are or the type of work that they do. For example, some of the main alcoholic beverages that show up in anime are beer, which is usually associated with casual drinkers, people who attend nomikais, also known as group or social drinking parties. There's also sake, which is a type of rice wine originating in Japan that has a...
The sake drinking lady from, what is that anime? The one with the guy that like collects girls like Pokemon by kissing them. And like the main girl looks like Sakura. Anime makes me want beer a lot. Yeah. The Rico? No. Hail the flashlight builds character. Don't sell yourself short later. It's a whole city with like 100 girls are fighting. I'm gonna find this. I have to find this one. Talking about copulation or whatever that was called. No, it's a single name. Starts with an S. Oh, I can just go to my Annie list probably. Hold on. I can figure this out. Completed. And sort by alphabetical. Sort by title. You don't drink. Interesting. Because you don't like you when you drink, or just never have, or choose not to lose your senses. I'm always curious why people don't drink. I don't think you should drink. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're missing out. Oh, you should drink instead. Sekirei. Sekirei. This one. This anime. Sekirei. This one has a girl that drinks in it. And she has like the giant sake bottle at all times. Sekirei is a great anime. If you want to see Pokemon but with chicks, watch that. Never have. Interesting. Just never wanted to. Never had an opportunity. Seems an odd thing to do. The Asian girl is drinking. Yeah, in the Chinese dress. The Chongsim dress. Chongsim.
A lot of traditional references and also shows up in a lot of ceremonies and religious practices. Wine kind of globally is associated with classy drinkers and usually older women. And then there's harder liquor, which includes whiskey, rum, and tequila, among others, that are usually associated with older, more mature drinkers who can handle their liquor, or sometimes...
There's not a need to. My love comes from a love of two things. One of which is good, and the other one I have to keep an eye on, right? I love the taste, the intricacies, the way you can blend things, the way you can mix them together. You go to a bar like Cannon over in Cap Hill. That's where Vosh lives, I'm guessing, is over in Capitol Hill, if anyone's familiar with Vosh. I'm pretty sure he lives nearby that area. And if he doesn't, he frequents that area. But I love canon, that you go up and you just tell the bartender what kind of things you like, and they make you something. There's not even a menu. You're just like, I like things. The other part of me, I like the loosening. I like the loss of control. I feel like you had too much control too often in your life. Let it release. Let it loosen up a little bit. Don't mention the V word. I have to. We live in nearby cities. There's a non-zero chance that I will encounter. Well, okay, hold on. If Vosh were to leave his house, there's a non-zero chance I could encounter him. Granted, his door dashing and online ordering will probably preclude that. Thank goodness. However, there is a non-zero chance that I encounter Vouchy baby. We're just raised that way, no alcohol in the house or anything. Oh yeah, am I remembering this wrong? Were you like raised in Louisiana or something? Like South? Interesting. I have a friend who's exactly the same way. Grew up with his grandparents, never alcohol in the house, never nothing. Doesn't have anything against it. And I love having a DD anytime they're around. So it's always great. But I do find that fascinating. Very, very fascinating. You like the chill? Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Exactly. That's why you have a support group of good friends that you always are open with and communicate with. It's important for anything. There's a non-zero chance that the Dark will return soon. We all know who I'm talking about. Apparently South Park put Andrew Tate in an episode. Nice. Rip for that day, Blaine. Not for me. Spoilers. You're born in New York State with Southern parents. Oh, interesting. Georgia South. Well, okay. At least I was like half remembering something. Should have read the storyboard.
Just associated with people who kind of can't handle the liquor but still drink it anyway. Younger characters in anime aren't totally off limits from having a sip of alcohol or two. For example, on holidays like New Year's, there's a specific type of sake, kind of sweet, light alcohol.
It's amikaze, and kids can drink it. Amikaze is about as, it's like sarsaparilla. Like, there is no real alcoholism about having an amikaze.
Type drink known as amasake, which I've tried and I really did like. It's actually pretty good. It's kind of like just like a juice drink with a little hint of alcohol
juice
that you can barely taste, but it's sweet and it's delicious and I love it. Surprisingly, some characters in anime and even in real life are able to get drunk off of coffee, according to some people's genetics, which I didn't really know was a thing until I watched one episode of Blue Period and I was thoroughly surprised. And of course, there's those really funny moments in anime where a character that's usually a teenager or younger gets a little drunk after eating hard liquor chocolates, which are just the chocolates that have like a little bit of alcohol in them. And those are funny, usually one and done gags that you don't continue to see for the rest of the season. There are also characters who smoke a lot in anime as well as drink, or vice versa. And there's some really interesting characters and specifically women characters that I would love to break down, but that would be for a whole other video. Let me know if you want.
Smoking in Japan is insanely common. But like, you remember how in like America we used to have smoking or non? Zoomers, trust me when I say this. We used to have a thing called smoking or non-smoking, and you would go to Denny's or someplace like that, and like half the restaurant would be the smoking section, the other half would be the non-smoking section, and they would have when you talk while she does, you're not waiting. Lower her volume? Okay, I can do that. I can also turn me up. Crank it up. Crank it up. More gain. More gain. I'm kidding. I'll turn that back down. So in America, you would have literally right next to each other, and like the fans would all be in like the there would be fans in the smoking section, like blowing the smoke into the non-smoking section. So it was like kind of pointless that we ever split it up. And then we got rid of that. We're like, no more smoking indoors. But what Japan does is in Japan, when you go and they're like smoking or non-smoking, it's literally like a glass encased, hermetically sealed section of a restaurant where they insert the smokers to choke on their own fumes while they have like one vent that like sucks it out. And you don't smell them at all. Not at all. Nothing like that. There's something about Japanese cigarettes. Like, I don't smoke. I do not smoke tobacco at all. I don't smoke cigarettes at all. I will have a cigar from time to time, but I'm not a smoker. But in Japan, the smell of cigarettes is pleasant. You don't smell like death as someone like walks by. It's kind of crazy to me. You didn't have phones in the section. Stop stealing from the hotel minibar. You were aware of it that people smoked everywhere in the past? It's true. Yeah, hardly any restaurants left that have smoking sections. It's very common in Japan. And in Japan, there are some places still where you'll go in and they'll just ask you if you're going to smoke and they'll put an ashtray on your table. So like there's some like whole establishments that will be smoking sections. So that occurs as well. But I don't know what that has to do with drinking. Maybe she just likes drinking.
Well, all of these are interesting to say the least. I'm mostly going to be focusing on two types of beverages, beer and hard liquors, and how that affects the characters that we see in shows, why they show up.
What an odd choice. I'm curious why she would make that choice of beer and hard liquor, because most of the time where you get the drunken siren, she's got the big bottle of sake that she's going on. You want to confirm that smell thing? You hate the smell of cigarettes. My husband smokes and it's gross. It's weird. I'm convinced that because we have so many rules against smoking, cigarette companies do whatever they can to maximize profits of each cigarette, which leads to like a garbage smell. But in Japan, they don't have it. Like, you can buy cigarettes out of a vending machine in Japan, just right on the side of the road, no ID. You can always smell smoke before they enter the room. It smells different. It's weird. Maybe I'm broken. We'll find out.
Show up so often in the situations and places that the drinks show up in and why the characters drink them.
What does Tsunade on Naruto drink? Is it just sake? Yeah, sake on that one.
Get-togethers are actually traditions passed down throughout Japan's history. But the most notable change in modern history as it pertains to women drinking has to be post-bubble Japan. During the recession of the 90s, men were losing full-time jobs and started transitioning into temporary and part-time work, positions that women were already starting to make up in the 80s.
Hold on. I don't mean to critique much on like the video creation side of things. I'm more interested in like what her anime takes are. But is she just holding her phone, reading off the script while she cuts to her doing that rather than having more anime stuff on top?
Drinking has to be post-bubble Japan. During the recession of the 90s, men were losing full-time jobs and started transitioning into temporary and part-time work, positions that women were already starting to make up in the 80s and previous. Men and women for the first time.
That's a strange choice. Very strange choice to me. Huh. But like only from like an editor perspective of having done video work for years. Probably looking at the stats on the phone. Yeah, probably reading the script. Like, she probably has a script and she's reading her script, which is totally fine, totally good. Just to put that cut in, very, very interesting. She just casual, I suppose. Maybe.
And we're on the same work level, thus the rise of more women drinking for the workplace and casually. Now, you may be thinking, what does men and women being on the same working level have to do with women drinking more? And the answer is Japan has this kind of interesting aspect about its culture where drinking is part of the job sometimes. Despite how amazing that might sound to some,
it is amazing. You go to parties, like your work parties instead of meetings. It's great. Plus, if you encounter one, like if you're eating or drinking next to one of these work parties, they buy you rounds too. It's great.
there are some pitfalls to these enticing drinking parties. Imagine going to happy hour with your coworkers and your boss, and then having to fill your boss's drink whenever they were running low on their drink, and having to refer to them professionally as if still at the workplace, and possibly being humiliated at work for the rest of your life there because you couldn't hold your liquor and dance down the street naked.
Takunomi is a great anime. Definitely recommend for most people. Women don't drink, they just taste and forget to spit. You have no idea about any of this Japanese history stuff. You just assume they went from nuke to robots. There was a long time of them going from nuke to industrial superpower to then losing it all, basically. Spell it out, Blaine? No.
Does it still sound fun to you? To some people, yeah, it probably does. There are many rules based in tradition and history that you have to master and do correctly at these drinking parties. For example, like a subordinate pouring alcohol for their superior in order to honor hierarchy in the workplace. Pre-90 Japan, the working class was dominated by men who participated in these drinking parties to become initiated into their companies and create bonds with their superiors and colleagues. There's a term known as communication, combining the Japanese word for drinking and the English word for communication, which means the act of people talking over drinks to form stronger bonds with one another. It isn't just associated with workplace drinking, but hints at the idea that drinking together with other people is just a popular way to hang out and become closer with other people. Once tempered.
Interestingly, though, I think she is doing fantastic at making her cuts sound like a cohesive sentence. That is very difficult to do. Might be easier because she keeps a very similar tone the entire time, whereas like I'm all over the place with my tone sometimes. But yeah. Drinking party is a social drinking event or just doing shot for shot? No, it's social. It's usually beer, so you're not getting too hammered. And it's in a group thing with like lots of good fried food.
Worked leveled the job field for men and women, it became common for women to begin to participate more in these drinking parties, which comes with its own ups and downs. Especially since some of these women's duties were often associated with having to perform for men, including pouring alcohol for their superiors, even if it wasn't technically their job to pour. There's a good example of this in the series Agretzko, where Agretzko has to pour a drink for her boss, even though she is not the youngest or the most inexperienced person in the room. But there's another scene where they do it again, where Agretzko is able to kind of speak up for.
Sounds like South Africans would enjoy Japan. I think everyone enjoys Japan. I love it. I've been 7 times and I've got my my next trip already planned.
For herself and show Tone that she's not just this girl he can boss around, and it's also a great time. That all happened when Agretzko was still good. But outside of limited traditional roles.
Ooh, when Agretzko was still good. A bit of a based anime take there. Should have ended seasons ago. There we go. That's a hint. That's a hint. So we got one negative, one positive. I think we move forward.
Work drinking parties are key to understanding why drinking is so commonplace in anime. Many shows featuring working class characters usually depict them going out for drinks with their coworkers, either for work or in their personal downtime. So this explains shows like My Senpai is Annoying, Otakoi, Agretzko, and Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, among others, which heavily feature women casually drinking with their friends and coworkers, sometimes during, but usually after work.
The next take is hating Ava. No, worse, Michael. The next take is going to be thinking the rebuilds are better than the original series based on the Ava shirt.
Adjacent to these dynamics came a whole new world of nightlife alcohol rendezvous just for women. The changing dynamics in the workplace also brought about changes in behavior of working women. Women often left their work drinking parties to meet up with other women and friends for more drinking. At first, the areas where women to comfortably party and drink into the night were few and far between, but as dynamics changed in the workplace, so did it change in the nightlife as more women started to go out into the town with their friends and look for places where they could hang.
You've met the pro rebuild people? There are many? What? Like, actively they prefer the rebuilds.
hang out and have a good time. This led to the rise of host clubs, which are places where men performed duties that were usually associated with women and men's entertainment fantasies and things like that. So the men in host clubs would go and serve the women, they would perform for them, and they would pour their alcohol in their drinks and things like that, kind of subverting the traditional roles. And on an interesting note, this is how...
Yeah, they're too scared to confront their own inadequacies to really grow beyond what makes them garbage people into becoming better people. They don't want to stare to that void because they're scared they won't be able to stare back.
Would go and serve the women, they would perform for them, and they would pour their alcohol in their drinks and things like that, kind of subverting the traditional roles. And on an interesting note, this is how the premise for Ouran High School Host Club was created, which is super interesting and a whole other topic for another video. Manga like Nomi Joshi, aka Drinking Girls, features a group of women who like to go out and drink together at beer gardens and clubs in their free time, away from work and the responsibilities at home. Anime like Takunomi takes place at a 20-something girls' dormitory where the residents like to hang out and drink at home together after living their various daily lives. Many under-the-radar manga and anime such as the one...
Are you a voice actor? I am not a voice actor. I know that may surprise you. I am a Pacific Northwest businessman, entrepreneur, food truck owner, not operator yet. We still gotta get a license so I can operate it. I have friends that are voice actors. You should be. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. I do have a friend who's a voice actor that if he gets to ADR on something, I will be a voice. I will be a voice. I will be a voice actor at some point, but I want to just be like random old guy in the back. And then forever, I'm just going to have that clip. That'll be the thing I do.
Ones I mentioned before are probably going to show you more realistic aspects of women drinking alcohol and the joys of just women just hanging out with their homies on a weeknight and having a good time, which I'm here for. But we're not just talking about the good representations of alcohol and women in anime, we're talking about all of the representations, and that includes some questionable and slightly annoying ones as well.
Jamie, that's your fault. That's your job, Jamie. It'll just be him and his rant voice. God damn it.
I mentioned earlier, beer or biru is usually associated with younger casual drinkers, but also in anime, it seems, tends to be associated with mentally attractive women and party animals. One of anime's, Japan's, and possibly the world's favorite drinks is beer. The rise of popularity of beer in Japan may be associated with Japan's involvement with Germany in World War I and World War II, among other things. There's actually
Japan's beer. I'm trying to remember. I remember the Kirin beer tour. I'm pretty sure it goes like long before World War II. I think it's like 1900s. Sapporo beer. Yeah, Sapporo beer was founded in 1876. Kirin Ichiban year. Kirin was founded in 1907. Yeah, beer in Japan much older than their involvement with Germany. So let's not say that the Nazification of Nazi joining, camaraderie, whatever you want to say, of Japan. Thought you women called them besties. No, besties have testes. Don't forget that.
Actually, a really interesting video of Japan, beer in Germany by Aeon No Horus, which I'll link somewhere up here in the description for you to watch if you want to learn a little bit more about that. He breaks it down pretty well, but we're not going to get that deep today. We're just talking about why beer shows up in anime specifically, and specifically why beer, which was commonly associated with men for a really long time, now is kind of the staple for women in anime to drink. Some of the first associations with Japanese women and beer are advertisements by places like Kirin. At first, the ads showed women nowhere near a glass of beer, instead posing elegantly elegantly on posters for beer companies, despite the rise of women going out to beer halls in their spare time as early as the 1950s. As time went on and the appeal of sex dynamics changed, women in scantily clad bikinis holding beer became popular in the 90s to early 2000s.
That's the way to
in
sell
Japan.
a beer.
This
You
may
want
have
an
led to
ice
men
cold
being more attracted
Asahi
to
held
women
by
who
this
drank beer,
hottie?
even though
Is that
none
what
of
you
these
want?
depictions of
That's what
women
they're
had
trying to
them
do.
drinking beer, just holding it, seductively. More importantly, this could have led to women drinking more beer, maybe at first to seem more attractive, but later on just because they began to actually...
How would you sell beer? If you had to sell a beer, how would you do it? Would you just put a picture of a can, or would you put that can with some cans?
Whose cans?
You're the advertising company. You get to pick. If you want to make money, what are you going to do? I know. Yeah.
enjoy it and enjoyed hanging out with friends while drinking it. Beer has also become the trope of everyone's favorite character archetype, which is the belligerent drunk girl who likes to fall all over the pitiful protagonist. What's more attractive than a woman downing a cold one? Apparently a girl who can't control her liquor. Though some of the women I mentioned are actually fairly tolerant of the alcohol they consume, apparently this is the case for women in positions of power. There are quite a few cases where women in anime who tend to be docile or shy become more bold and bombastic after chugging a few beers, among other beverages, giving this idea of the best of both worlds. There's a girl who is shy and sweet and submissive during the day, but give her a few drinks and she will be more aggressive, talk a lot more, and is kind of allowed to be more loud and belligerent. A character that embodies this trait...
Oh no, it's as true as dolphins liking people. Gross. You're the advertiser, get the blonde chick from the Carl's Jr. commercials. Whatever it takes.
Might hate me for is actually Yor from Spy Family, because of that one episode where, in order to do something, I won't give away the spoiler, she decides to down an entire glass of wine in order to be confident enough to do what she has to do. And it's kind of interesting, and part of the reason I actually made this video in the first place. But a character that I really want to break down because of her interest in beer specifically is Misato from Evangelion. Yes, I wore this shirt for a reason, because I'm talking about Evangelion today. Can't have a deep psychological video about alcohol without talking about Evangelion. So I really want to discuss why Misato is such a heavy drinker, but particularly why she's such a heavy beer drinker instead of, a consumer of any other.
Cheap, and you keep it in cans. You just go home and grab it and crack it open. You found out there's something in Dubai called the Dolphinarium. Oh no.
Type of alcoholic beverage. What's particularly interesting about Misato is that
I feel like the phone reading has gotten more... is it just her thing, I wonder? Because at first it was just a little clip of her in between a couple other clips, and I was like, okay, maybe that's just a thing that, she didn't catch or didn't care. She just wanted to show her hand flare. But now it's super... Here I am reading the thing. Very interesting. If I'm trying to sell to men, have beautiful women next to product. To women, have jewelry next to product. There you go.
she drinks beer all the time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, all the time, which is a reference to, a problem, but it makes sense why her character might have this type of issue.
Okay, those zoom in cuts, they get me. We watched AI Presidents earlier, and the zoom in got me. The zoom in got me again.
Not saying that it's okay, because she has a very stressful job, and she also has a very sad, messed up childhood and background. But what's not explained is why she primarily chooses beer for her alcohol consumption. Part of the reason, I assume, is because of that thing I talked about earlier, where conventionally attractive women were shown on posters of beer ads in order to get more men to drink it. Therefore, what better way to show a fantasy of a beautiful woman drinking beer than anime, specifically anime, which was really big in the 90s. I think particularly Misato's hobbies and work life have to play into why she specifically chooses beer to drink.
I always assumed she chose beer because the whole point of her character, and I'll go into this in my eventual Evangelion episode that I put together, my Evangelion rant. She is portrayed as the sort of grubby worker, get it done. So goes to the convenience store, buys a 24-pack of Bud, brings it back, and then downs 3 of them with her can of tuna. she's not doing anything special for the meal. Everything's in cans. It's all just canned stuff that's all around. There could also be an extra bit where, because of the impacts, we don't have long-term liquor manufacturing. We don't have distilling anymore, but we have beer. We can still make beer because Americans or humans have been making beers forever. So I think we can do that. She has beers because she had more balls than Shinji. True. Very true. Low effort, 6-packs, etc. Yeah. Get your 6-pack of Bud and your cup of ramen.
Drink. Being in such a high position at work means that she has a lot of responsibility.
Hey, Shinji, pass me a Zima.
It also means she has to make a lot of life or death decisions for literal children on a daily basis. At home, she lives in a messy apartment surrounded by beer cans and tossed car magazines, which alludes to her interest in old cars. Another reference to her interest in old cars is the first car that she picks Shinji up in that first episode, which later gets trashed. All of these are actually a trait developed by character designer for Evangelion.
Actual car, in fact. Not battery powered in real life, but an actual car. Alpha, I think.
Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, who also has a love for cars and motorcycle outfits and everything that Misato kind of embodies in her character. All this also kind of insinuates her bachelor-esque lifestyle, where she kind of lives like a dude that's kind of living on his own and doesn't really have any responsibilities. Her only downtime is being at home and drinking her beers. And she would drink it all the time. It's easy to drink a bunch of them at once without getting too drunk too quickly. And in Misato's case, she usually consumes about 30.
Oh, there are sake bottles behind her. So there's that. We just don't see her drinking those.
Plus cans a day, according to one article, which is...
However, that is brewed. It's not distilled, so maybe my anti-distill theory is still good.
Problem, like I said, like she needs some help, but the whole cast needs help. The next drinks I'm going to be breaking down are more associated with more mature, older individuals who can sometimes hold her liquor and sometimes still can't, but drink it anyway.
Kitty, you don't know that she kept all those beers down.
There's a more negative trope that an older woman who drinks a lot is bitter about her life and her mistakes, among other failures and things that haunt her. For example, Tsunade from Naruto. Fortunately, like all the other women characters in Naruto, Tsunade is just the embodiment of a single trope of a older woman who drinks because she regrets her life decision.
Isn't the hard liquor? Isn't Tsunade literal? Those are sake bottles. Those are bunch of little sake bottles in front of her. You go in, you're like, oh, Atsukan, and they give you a little hot sake. That's what you get.
That is seen in every aspect of Tsunade's character personality. Despite being in one of the highest positions in the series, Tsunade is given the bitter old woman trope and never really gets a chance to show off her Hokage level abilities. Oftentimes when a scene is focused on her, she is steeped in flashbacks of the loss of her brother or her beloved Don Kato. I don't know if I said his name right, I haven't finished all of Naruto. And later on Jiraiya. Losing multiple people in her life that she loved, some of which she blames on herself, leads to her gambling and alcohol addiction to drown her sorrows and failures. But not everything is bleak in the world of hard.
Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert for anime regarding alcohol.
Liquor drinkers, also known as shugo. There are also examples of women who drink a lot to show their positions of power. For example, successful women in high white-collar managerial positions or work, or just...
Angry Canadian, we're watching women drinking alcohol in anime from Anime Tea. I'm interested in branching out to more anime-based YouTubers, so we're trying to see who out there we could actually have a conversation with that would be interesting.
Just in higher positions in their series, for example, who drink hard liquor as a sign of pride and are often highly regarded in their work. This is because they're often in charge of younger, mostly male subordinates, and if they're unable to tolerate high levels of alcohol, it might be seen as a sign of weakness in leadership. That's why we get characters who handle their liquor well and are sometimes thrown into occasional drinking competitions to show their strength. The most interesting aspect of those who drink heavier spirits in anime is that some of them are just doing it to have a great time.
based animators. Just people that you could have a conversation with. I think that's hard for some people.
And that's probably one of my favorite tropes to have. They enjoy drinking liquor as a hobby, as a pastime, and they are able to control themselves for the most part and still have a good time. Since companies around the late 90s and forward began to market all of their liquor products, including harder liquors, to women as women began to climb higher in terms of economic success, it became more popular to showcase women in ads and commercials who knew about the contents of the drinks they liked, including those that had heavier substances such as whiskey, and order it confidently at bars or enjoy it among their friends. One of my favorite representations of an older lady who likes to drink in her spare time and knows how to handle her liquor and doesn't do it because of trauma or abuse is Yuko from Holic. She's a good mix between a boss lady and someone who just loves drinking as a hobby.
She's not going to pronounce XXX when she says the word holic. I've never heard someone call it holic. Oh, have you seen holic? No, you always say, have you seen XXX holic? That's mind-blowing. That's a first for me. I've never heard that in my life.
She normally drinks as a celebration or brings drinks to friends as offerings. She and Mokona, her adorable bunny-like creation, tend to hang out and drink together in the afternoons when she's not running her shop. I've been reading Holic lately, so...
You just pronounced dot hack as point hack. Hey, at least you said the point. That's going in the book. Yeah, she's got the omnibus that has the 3 X's on it. What? That's crazy.
So that's kind of why I thought of it, because Yuko is great. I love her. I love her just being a boss lady who runs her shop, being elusive, and being involved in the supernatural, and knowing a good liquor when she sees one. There's also Chisato Mizusawa for Love is a Cocktail, who's also a good example of this, and she's just a woman who...
Love is a Cocktail is adorable. This is an adorable show. Just warm. You want to feel warm? You're a little cold. You're like, oh, I want something to warm me up. Watch this show. You need to watch Period Hack. Well, is it Spy Cross Family? Yeah, it's the crisscross. You Spy Cross Family.
Works hard all day long at work and gets to come home and try the different cocktails that her husband gives her. And she doesn't need to get super drunk to have a great time. She gets a little tipsy, she takes her drink, and she relaxes for the rest of the day. What more can you want? Alcohol and the characters that drink it are a mixed bag of complex ideals that both represent freedom of consumption, making room for markets to accept anyone of legal age who wishes to consume their products, and the persistence of annoying drunk girls in anime that will probably never go away, because people seem to like that for some reason. There are many tropes in anime that make us question their purpose, many that have deeper meanings and connotations that we may overlook because we see them so often.
It's a very interesting ping, too. It sounds like a staple gun. Choo. True.
What other major tropes have you noticed in anime you may want a deeper dive into? Please let me know in the comments below so I can see if I'll make a video on it. And if you feel like helping me afford to continue to make these videos among others, please check out my Patreon where for $1 a month you can get exclusive access to extra little content.
Follow me on Locals. Donate to me here. It's a very analog ping. Yeah, it definitely, it makes me feel like something's out and it needs to be replaced. Need to fix something. But yeah, no, I think we could maybe have a conversation, unless she lives and dies by a script. If she lives and dies by a script, she won't want to talk in a live stream, so we'll see. Lack of subscribers. That was interesting. I like the level of depth with the content. I think that shows someone who wants to think more about things and could lead to a more interesting discussion. Now we'll just see if we can open that up and see if we can get a pathway to it. I think she's nice. Yeah. I feel like she's like a few people I've met at different conventions. So very, very fun. Everyone, not the worst you've subjugated us to. Don't forget you're subjugated to be here at every stream. Smashing that like button, hitting that subscribe, sharing with all your friends, telling people you know that they should be watching this stream too. Like, subscribe, do all the doodly diddly doodly dees. Everyone, Have a wonderful rest of your night. I'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, it's the Friday show. We're doing the Fun Time Friday panel show. Everybody can come on. They can talk. We can have some fun. We can do wherever the conversation goes. Before that, 5 o'clock, I will be once again on Brandon's show. And we will be talking about anime from 2007 to 2009. What were the shows that you should definitely watch and not have missed? Make sure to leave a comment. Exactly. Let me know how bad I was in this episode. Let me know what my worst anime take was. Was it not liking Lord of the Rings being repeatedly watched by everyone on the planet, apparently? Apparently that's the worst take I have on the planet. Okay, thanks, bye. All right, have a good one, kiddo. You think the guy you convinced pussied out? Coward. Coward. See you Saturday morning. All right, you have a good one. Everyone, I will catch you next time. Kampai, friends.